Futures trying to get back to the upside here as we get going on a Tuesday this morning. We did have a move right back to session lows there just before 8 o'clock, trying to rebound a little bit here. Crude oil downside in a big way as well. OPEC with more comments suggesting we got a couple weeks ago, if you remember, a delay in the next OPEC Plus meeting. They're now saying that could be further delayed as talks have ran into difficulties. So oil back to basically flat on the session. It is still positive, but there was a move. Downside, so some of the energy-related names under a little bit of pressure here this morning. Lots of things to talk about moving higher. Twilio, one of those, 3% higher in pre-market trading here. Anson Group building a stake in TWLO. We'll touch on that. It's 2 days away from Cybertruck Day. Thursday, we'll get Cybertruck Day from Tesla, so we'll keep an eye on that this morning. Boeing's moving around, Affirm again. Shopify downside on a downgrade, coming off pretty impressive performance for all the e-commerce related stocks yesterday on not only Black Friday, but Cyber Monday. Pretty impressive right across the board. It's Tuesday, November 28th, 2023. Tradertv.live starts now. A couple things to be aware of as far as economic data this morning. We are going to get some housing-related numbers coming up at 9 o'clock. The big one, though, at 10 this morning, we get CB Consumer Confidence. That's the Conference Board Consumer Confidence number for November at 10 o'clock. And then, yeah, long list, once again, of Fed speakers. Of late, it really hasn't amounted to much as far as their comments, but we'll get Goolsbee, we'll get Waller today, we'll get Bowman once again, Fed's Bar as well coming later in the day, 1 o'clock, and then a double dip for Bar at 3:30 as we head towards the close. So a few things to keep in mind. Yeah, it's not necessarily an important week for economic data, but there are a few things that are going to be interesting. One of those, the consumer confidence number. Today we'll get GDP and then PCE coming up on Thursday, so it could be influential, but as I was mentioning, it kind of seems like all of these numbers now are just getting shrugged off as maybe people are just sick of hearing about it.
Yeah, well, I'm sure people have had enough of hearing about inflation and its effects. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what these Fed speakers say today. I'm willing to bet we'll hear higher for longer, and we'll raise if we have to, sort of thing. That's what we've been hearing for them for the past 8 months or so. More Chinese retail data, Brendo, coming out. PDD with earnings blowing through the roof, and then Shein also possibly filing for an IPO. So yeah, Chinese retail on deck.
Yeah, we got some announcements across the board. There was a few that came out after the close yesterday saying that they might come to market early 2024, including Reddit was another one I heard. Kim Kardashian's line was another one that I heard could be lined up for early 2024. Here's that move in crude oil. Had a spike down there on that OPEC Plus headline. We are starting to bounce back up. Still positive, as I mentioned, but some of the energy names were moving around on that move in crude oil. The market trying to climb back higher here as well. Sean is back with us this morning. Good morning, guys.
Yeah. Good morning. The long weekend is over. It's sweater day up in here, man. I'm just going to throw it out. Pinduoduo is hot today, but it is cold outside, although there was a discussion here about like what is cold in Canada and what is not. It was, what was it, minus 12 Celsius. That was the coldest when I woke up this morning with the wind chill.
What? It was that cold?
Yeah, like yeah, early in the morning with the wind chill. It was minus 12 when I woke up.
-5.
But it's only about -5 now. And then Adara was telling us, well, I mean, I guess we knew this. Out where she's from, Winnipeg, it gets to -50. So it can always be colder somewhere else. But if you're looking for heat in the market, yesterday it was about the retail names. There's just no question about it. It was Affirm. It was anything related to the big boom in Black Friday. You saw Shopify. You saw Wayfair. Today, Pinduoduo takes aim at the markets, up 15%. So let's respect this absolute burner of the stock. This name has been leading things when it comes to like the Chinese. It hasn't even been close when it comes to the Chinese retailers. So it's going to be first and foremost a big mover. And it's all about cybersecurity today. Zscaler last night, CrowdStrike after the bell today. Both of those. I mean, Palo Alto is going to be in play. And Meta, Meta after that big I want to say big Huadong to the downside, but Meta had a bit of a fall midday, battle with the FTC. It's looking a little bit weak. We're still underneath 16,000. That is the big level to be sure on that NASDAQ. If we can't climb above there, generally speaking, you've been looking for short opportunities at that 16,000 when we fail it. And Meta actually is right out there for us. Bao saying PDD dump it, just short at this point. Chinese ADRs tend to fall at the open when they gap up like this. Ranster in the house.
Oh man, good. Thank you, Ranster. Randy sent me an idea to put the minerals in the real tree in the water to keep it a little. Oh no, he's going bearish already.
Really?
Okay. I'm just getting the sticky note out. Welcome to the show, everybody. It's 8:36 right now. We're gonna have another great day. I want to thank obviously Obi for holding it down for me for a couple days. We're excited. I got a couple decent ideas. I just added Tesla there. I didn't realize the Cybertruck thing is going to be happening in a couple days, so we'll wait to see. Yes, sir, if that can get going as well as we'll look to see about Tesla, hopefully printing to the long side here today. I think there's some good dipped levels, and that's just what I'm writing right here on the sticky note, all about different key areas of concern, because I don't know if the market's going to be so crazy today. We've seen the last couple days pretty muted. We did hear some Cyber Monday, Black Friday, obviously great for retail, great in our house as well. But yeah, man, it's great to be back. We're going to hopefully bring some fire. I'm sure the Dollar Club was around, and it's hopefully going to be back here today. Pinduo Duo is obviously going to be a monster here today as well. I said, like, what the hell? I looked, I was like, oh, maybe Alibaba's finally going, but Alibaba down to $76 still. So, what goes up is not necessarily all Chinese related, but that name is a rocket ship. The Temu app, Sharif reminded me of as well. There you go. This guy loves this app. I heard they're going to be selling Li Auto vehicles on the Temu app soon. So that's going to be wicked for you, Sharif, man. That's going to be so awesome that you can buy all the Li Auto vehicles soon. Unconfirmed rumor that I'm starting right now.
Well, you could probably at least buy some accessories to put inside the car on the Temu app.
Unconfirmed, uneducated estimate of
Li
Auto sales on the Temu app. So there we go. I think that could bolster the stock there of Li Auto. So no, we're just joking around. We know that
Li Auto just spiked 6 cents.
There you go. So you're welcome, Sharif. All right, back to the desk.
That might be the best thing they ever do, is like just buy one right on your phone. That would be great.
Sean.
Let's touch on some of these retail-related stories here this morning. I want to mention this first. Adobe, 0.6 right now downside. There was a little bit of a move back to 615. Adobe just coming out saying that consumers spent $12.4 billion on Cyber Monday. That's up 9.5% year over year. Was in line with what we were talking about yesterday there from Adobe. Shopify downside today on a downgrade, which is kind of interesting coming off the past 2 days here. Pretty impressive for all of these, though, yesterday.
Yeah, Shopify making waves yesterday with the big move and some of the related industries with it. We know that we were looking for a strong Cyber Monday and a good Black Friday, and it looks like we got that yesterday. So I was a bit surprised with the downgrade. Maybe they're looking at it as price to perfection. We'll have to keep an eye on that. With respect to Adobe, they got an upgrade today, I believe, from Figma. Sorry, not Figma.
No, it was the UK stepping in on the Figma deal. So there might be some question marks there on the Figma deal. There was rumblings of that going back a couple of weeks. So this was middle of last year. I think they did this deal with, or to acquire Figma. There's been some antitrust issues going back and forth. Just seeing as well, Coinbase right back to session highs here, 1.6% in the pre-market after yesterday. So lots of things moving around here, guys.
Yeah, the UK threatening veto on that Figma deal for Adobe. The interesting thing, Shopify was a good stock yesterday, gapping higher, then pulled. And we talked about this with Michael Noss. Like, what is one of the most simplistic strategies or things to look at for a trader? Prior support turning into resistance, prior resistance turning into support. So at the open, you literally bounced off the previous week high on Shopify, then stair-stepped it up. Oddly enough, where do we bounce this morning? Same thing, previous week's high, that's 71.5, doing double duty. But the volume hasn't been that great. So, a lot of times, you can get a downgrade in a stock, but let's remember that at the beginning of November, this was in the 40s. and it broke out and got to $74. So, you know, you're up over 50%, and in just the month isn't even over yet. So it's been quite the month for Shopify. So when you get a downgrade like that, it can just be how far this thing has traveled, in my estimation. It does put it on watch. I still want to respect that 71.50 until it's gone. That was the level yesterday. Once it bounced off that, it was kind of look for the longs above, consolidations, dips, all that good stuff until it reached 74. I think you could put in the same range today. As long as 71.50 holds, I think it has a chance to bounce back and forth between that support and that 74 even level, specifically on Shopify. As far as Adobe goes, this Figma thing, I don't know that it's a gigantic surprise with the UK putting that deal under pressure, but it has not been moving a ton off of this high. Like, it's gotten to the top at 625 and it's basically stalled out this last week. It wouldn't be shocking, I suppose, if the market were to pull back, if this were to see 600 again, as far as Adobe goes. And that was the last level of support anyways, for Adobe. Yeah, again, it's only trading 0.7% to the downside. I'm not sure if Adobe is gonna be a big mover today.
No, Adobe, I mean, Adobe's a great stock. When I saw some of those things, this is about 6-8 months ago with AI and what Adobe was doing, that's actually when I started to buy that name, and it's been great. Great mover, obviously. Not as great as Affirm over the last month, but Affirm goes basically doubled up here in the month of November from $16, $17 up to $30. Today they get an upgrade. We heard good just from Brendan right now. Cyber Monday, Black Friday was all pretty good. When I was looking around, I saw the little, I think it was on Best Buy. Was it Best Buy? Maybe it was Amazon as well, with the Affirm little logo there. So I feel that, you know, if Black Friday was as good as they're saying, and Cyber Monday, then yeah, Affirm should get some benefit from all of this. The more customers, great. Let's hope that it is buy now, pay later. And then if that does happen, then yeah, Affirm wins here. So I just marked down that we still have 20% short float on this name, so it's still relatively high, not as high as it's been. But Affirm, good short float, looking greater than the market here, a name that's up today versus a red market. I think Affirm takes out this 30.50. Obviously, a dip down into 28.50 needs to be bought as well, but this is a name that is solely on my radar. Sticky note, almost out.
All right, Twilio, as I mentioned when we came on there, to the upside here this morning, 2.6%, just took out that high from last week on the daily chart. This daily chart looking pretty good now as well. Hedge fund Anson reportedly building a stake in this one. That was the initial move anyway, and quote unquote, pushing for a sale of Twilio.
Yeah, interesting here. Not the first time they've been targeted. A hedge fund by the name of Legion Partners had targeted the company previously and was unsuccessful. Looks like Anson is pushing the company to sell or divest itself or its data and try to generate revenue off there. So interesting look. I'm looking at the chart here. An interesting resistance level at 70. I'll let the guys look at this, but looks like 70 is a bit of a top.
Yeah, trying to hold here right now at 64.5, guys, for Twilio.
Well, you said it already, Sharif. On that daily, you're at 65 and not moving a ton in pre-market volume, so it doesn't seem like it's all that anxious to get to 70 in the near run. However, there's, as you can see, a decent base to work off with the stock. Volume aside, when you see a stock like this, you can always tell sometimes just by looking at like a 15 or 20-minute chart, like the kind of volume and liquidity in a stock. Generally speaking, when you get this kind of a pattern, it's not the most liquid type of name. Like, look at the lack of movement with the exact same price levels over and over again. That said, it gives you an idea of where this can work back to. If it gets to 64 to 64.5, that would seem like the buy zone. There is, since I called it up, okay, there was like one print for 10 shares, but that's pretty much it. Like, there's nothing happening on the level 2, 15 to 20 cent spread at times. So it's not a heck of a lot going for it. This is the kind of situation where if it bounces off 64 and starts trending up, know that there is room to 70. So joining Twilio, if you get it before it cracks like 66, let's just say, you know, that's something where it has a lot of room to be able to run. But you need to see it go first. There's no need to jump into something or throw it to the top of your list based on a little bit of news when there is no corresponding price action or volume to go with it. There is a lot to look at today. You know, we're going to talk about we'll talk about those cybersecurity names. Obviously, like we already said with Meta, and then you throw in the retail names for day 2. You're already going to have a lot to be watching. NIO at $7 is in play. Tesla with the Cybertruck next week. Rivian, now you can lease them. Like, there's a lot of things to look at here. Twilio, if at 10 o'clock this thing is trending, I just know there's room to 70, and maybe there's a trade joining it on a stair step up. But that's the only way I'd play it.
Yeah, I haven't looked. I mean, I saw the Twilio weekly chart, daily chart, and it's been fantastic. That's a name that I was involved in at its IPO. I think it was $35, something like that. It's ripped to like 300. Now it's all the way back to these levels. So we'll see if Twilio can get going. I mean, again, another big, interesting tech name to watch out for. And you just mentioned Tesla and the Cybertruck. I mean, this is something here that I'm pretty excited about. You know, this is going to get going. Like, it's just a matter of one day when they release it, they finally release it, you're going to get all the hoopla and everything like that. This stock's going to go up on that day. So I just think that you want to play the long at some point here. Yesterday's bottom. Like, again, I wasn't here yesterday, but the same thing happens every damn day. I could probably look back to Friday, probably look to Wednesday. Look at this huge move off the open there for Tesla. Drops $4 or $5, then gets going the rest of the day before eventually sort of piecing out there in the afternoon and giving us this 236 bottom. So we're not going to play off 236. I mean, Tesla's green today, which is nice, but we'll see if we can get a dip buy opportunity into 234, 233, somewhere into here. I think that's great. I mean, a nice huge move down yesterday in Tesla. I mean, huge on the chart, not huge relative. I mean, dropping down $4 or $5, not big in the grand scheme of things, especially when you make it back in 30 minutes. But the idea there was be patient if you are going to be a day trader of this name today. So for me, it's quite simple, man. This could be an absolute monster today if you get a long down into here, 233, 234. So yeah, I'm very excited to get that going for Tesla. So that's going to be a play for me. But Twilio's good, just not enough volume.
They announced it, though, yeah, earlier. We were just talking about some of these. The Chinese EV makers back to the upside today. Yesterday was pretty ugly for most of these, XPeng included. Basically ended the session at lows when the overall market was kind of holding flat. Not a lot of volume behind this. We did get some insurance registration data. JP Morgan also came out yesterday saying that they have increased their position, long position in XPeng up to about 5%. So a few kind of minor catalysts here for these, but trying to bounce a little bit today.
Yeah, we know that XPeng is still working out its partnership with VW. We'll see how that manifests in the coming 6 months or a year. They're looking at getting an entry-level vehicle for the Chinese market there, and maybe possibly for export. With respect to the insurance data that we got, looks like Li Auto, there were 9,400 registrations for new Li Auto vehicles, and XPeng reported about 4,400, and NIO in last place with 3,300 vehicles. Last week, we also saw the release of the multi-purpose vehicle, the MPV, a hideous-looking vehicle, both from XPEV and Li, but Li's first foray into an electric-only model, no gas on this one, so we'll see how they do.
Just noticing as well some crypto-related equities back to the upside here. Here's Bitcoin right now, trying to go green on the daily chart, but still holding around 37,000.
That was the other thing that was crazy yesterday. Well, obviously, we talked about the retailers, but all of the crypto-related names were big. I mean, especially Coinbase. Coinbase was a huge flyer. So, like, look at Li Auto's chart in a 15-minute. Like, it's the thing about the Chinese ADRs is like you'll get all this gapping back and forth because you get some trading overnight. But the only thing that stands out when I see this is 41.50. So how many times has 41.50 been the high? There was one breach. When you look at the one time we breached it on 20th, it ran $1, and almost like initially it just started. It was gap up, almost like not. It was gap up and then run. When it started consolidating and then stair stepping up, that was at 41.5. So that's the level to watch for me on Li Auto, and that's about it. I mean, the other one, look, XPeng. For anyone looking at XPeng, I've been looking for this thing to break this channel. So it broke a little bit of a channel off of this lower high when it failed 20, and it's been consolidating above. It hasn't made the next step of breaking out at 19 yet. It's underneath $18, so a 19 breakout should not be the front of the radar when the stock's like $1 away from it. It's an $18 stock. So I'm looking for this thing to break 19 and then want to join. It's NIO that, like, look, NIO, every single time we talk about Chinese EVs, We just point out the fact that NEO just can't bounce. It is still testing these lows. 52, this all-time low here in June at $7 has been under threat for the entire month now. And you've been getting to 712, I think, is the actual low. Today you're at 722, despite the stock being up. Every day you're a day closer to this testing that $7 level. I like going long in front of it. And then it's a level that's a reverse to me, but if we get down there today, maybe today's the day. But I've said that so many times this month, and the stock has gotten close to 7. There's been small bounces, each one gets more and more shallow. Feel like this is the one that trades at the key level today, right off the bat.
All right, I want to talk a little bit here about crypto because trying to log in and check my account on crypto. All right, so just looking at 36,000, I mean, this is just an hour chart here for BTC. I mean, it's been holding this level pretty decently. I mean, obviously you did get a dip down into 35. This would be great, 34, 35,000 again. But I mean, I can't believe that we're actually talking about this level. I mean, I can believe it, but we were just at like 17, 18, 19, not just, but we've been talking about the rise of cryptocurrencies. We've had numerous guests on this show, including Natalie Brunell. We've had Adrian Zadunchuk and other crypto guys on the after show as well, the recap show that's back. I guess it was here today, but yesterday, but I'm back today. So we'll run that tonight. Make sure you join me as we'll have Brian Shannon on, the man that called the 470 bottom before it ripped up $40 on earnings. That was a great play. So watch out for Brian Shannon today. We'll talk about some other expected earnings. We have CRM coming soon as well. So, all right, down to 35. I think that's a huge buy there on crypto, and then you can hold that 35 until we break 33 or 34. But then you look at Mara and you say, okay, we can look at Coinbase. I think Coinbase wins for a while now, with everything with CZ and everything with Silvergate and then FTX and everything. Maybe Coinbase is that winner, right? Look at $10 down here for Mara. So yesterday, again, you'd have to get it early, but that was a nice bump up to $11.50. Mara continues to hold between $9.50 and $10. So I think that if you get a dip down in Mara, this is going to be a good buying opportunity. So one more time into there. Again, they're a Bitcoin miner. I don't think these guys are good for a longer term hold, but as far as able to swing trade something, I mean, this was up to $20. So if you think that there's going to be a run coming through in Bitcoin, like it went up to 20 on nothing. On their own earnings and everything like that. So let's see. This is a swoop down there. Nice little bottom down at $8, $9. Let's see if it can hold this 10, 9.50, 10 area. So I like Mara to do some damage down there, especially if you're able to get along through $10 and BTC hold. So if you get a BTC hold around 35, a Mara long around 10, check back in a couple weeks. I think you might be happy with that.
All right, let's get some analyst moves to kick things off this morning. Upgrades and downgrades with Adara over at the screen.
Some interesting moves here today, including a firm with an upgrade from Jefferies after the really strong buy now, pay later results from Black Friday. So definitely name to watch, up about 2% right now. Boeing also trading higher after an upgrade from RBC Capital Markets, with the price target being raised from $200 to $275. We have Crocs as well with an upgrade from Raymond James, and Lloyds Bank with an upgrade from Morgan Stanley. For downgrades, we have Shopify, traded really well yesterday, now to the downside after a downgrade from Piper Sandler. Morgan Stanley getting a downgrade from Societe Generale. ChargePoint with a downgrade from UBS. And last but not least, Welltower getting a downgrade from RBC Capital Markets, guys.
Ooh, Morgan Stanley. There was a weird discussion when I came back from getting my coffee. I sat back at the desk, and I sit down, and Sharif just turns to me and says, "Why does Lloyd have 2 L's in it?" I'm like, I don't know. Like, why does Lloyd? And then the funny thing was, the first thing that got said, it wasn't by me. I wish I was this quick saying it. It was, why does Sharif start with a C? I'm like,
why does Neil start with N-E-A-L, N-E-I-L?
No,
Look at
exactly.
my name, Sean.
Because there's multiple ways to spell it. But I am curious. Like, I'm sure there's a great story that someone can find about that. But I hate you, Morgan Stanley. I'm just kidding. I don't hate Morgan Stanley. I just wish they didn't get the downgrade. The banks have been doing pretty well. It'd be nice if they could have continued that. But I think the upgrade that most people are paying attention to might be a firm. And yesterday, obviously, you saw what most of these names did in the retail space. The one that got missed, look, we had Shopify, we had a firm. Amazon made for a good move, but there was a miss on Wayfair. If you look at the chart of Wayfair, this breakout at the high of the day on a firm, Wayfair at 50 was pretty much the same thing. So that was another one to look at, and you can probably have a look at that today. Decent short flow. The 20% short float carries a day when it comes to this kind of a move. It held that 27 level. This is 27 on the daily. I think when we showed you guys, we zoom it out even further, 27 had even deeper significance going back to the last time we saw these prices. So there you go. Like there's 27 multiple times. It finally broke it out, room to 31 essentially. It got pretty darn close to it at 30.40. So I want to look for some continuation. You saw 28.50 come into play, and then there was this consolidation. I'll go back to the 3-minute chart here. Then there was this consolidation to end the day above VWAP right here at 29.25. So that'd be the first place I'd look. It was, VWAP, resistance to support. We get into that 29, like 29 to 29.25. Looks like the first dip buy zone, and then 28.5. If it breaks 28.5, it's like wait till 27 for a firm. Acknowledging that, hey, sometimes you get these big moves to the upside in a squeeze name. When the unwind comes in, it can be nasty. Every trade has to have an out. That's why I start with where are the levels I like, because that provides me with the outs for the trades on the way back in here for a firm. So still room to that 31 on the daily, which provides you with plenty of opportunities to trade this retail name. Shop looking a little bit weaker, although both pulling back somewhat, but it's Shopify that was the weaker of the two this AM.
Yeah, I sold Shopify a couple weeks ago, up 25% of the position, which is a nightmare because it's been ripping up. But yeah, I put a firm right here on the sticky note. The sticky note is out. I realize I need to get a new pen as we're starting to run out of ink a little bit here. But I like the 30-50 long or whatever the pre-market high is. Again, I like the fact that we had a decent short float here with 20%. I like the fact that you're right here. You bounced up to that level yesterday with no upgrade. Now today you get the upgrade, so why can't we just take this out? So I already have the order in, and it's for the largest shares I maybe ever hit a firm with. So if it breaks through this 30-50 level, I think you got to have confidence. And then if you break back down below 30, then I think you just get out. So it's like a 50 cents worth of risk. I think it's worth it here, a break through 30.50, but again, I don't want it in the pre-market. I want to see what the pre-market high is. So right now, my order is set for $30.50, although realistically, I think, 30.30, I may change that, into 30.37, something like that there for a firm. But on the daily, the reason why I'm going over this is because, like I said, I want to, and again, no problem discussing this, right? I know we won't talk about exact share size, but like that's how much I like it. I'm going to hit this with the largest amount here for a firm. There's 30.50 right back into here, $31. Like Neil said, I think we can get to that level. So a break of 30.50, I think we can get to 31. That puts it 1-to-1. If I can empty out half the clip in between there somewhere, that would be great. And then we'll be able to hold, hopefully, house money into that level. So that's what I'm trying to do there on a firm. And then also, yesterday was such a fantastic day. Here we go. We cut down, this is a Katina family tradition. So there it is there. My daughter, my son, we cut down our tree yesterday. It doesn't look that big there, but it was pretty big. I think I only have 10-foot ceilings, and that was pretty close there. We had to chop off a little bit. Met some great guys here. And then this is more important to me. This is what we did early. While everyone was going over their watch lists, I snuck out. We went to the bakery here. This is the one right by my house that has the world-famous cannolis there. Shout out to Messina Bakery. There's my guy right there. He was out of school yesterday as we went shopping, went an hour north to go get north of Brampton, near Erin is the town.
I know.
Yeah, exactly. And a great name, by the way, Erin.
It is.
So we went there. We had a lot of fun. And then, of course, I'm not going to go over. I can go over my Twitter account as a proud father, but that would take me literally hours.
The Erin Fall Fair is amazing.
Yes.
We do that every year.
Yeah, so it was really great there. And also, Neil, you'd like this. We got invited back.
Yes.
Where we were at the Elliott Tree Farm is the Ontario Maple Syrup Museum.
Oh, yeah.
So we got all that, and then we got invited back to do their little winter maple syrup festival. So that's a lot of fun, and I know you know this. This is a Canadian, and I mean, someone said, how Canadian are you? Like, I spent my whole weekend playing hockey. Then yesterday, we went to a maple syrup farm and cut our own damn tree. Felt like a lumberjack yesterday. But what I'm getting at is, the taffy. So you get the snow,
It's so good.
and then you pour over the maple syrup. You get a popsicle stick or something, and then right there it's instant goodness. But I was going to ask you this. They had 3 kinds of maple syrup there. They had amber,
oh, don't.
they had dark, and
gotta ask
they
my
had
father-in-law this
golden.
question.
So I asked the guy all about it. It's actually all from the same tree, same everything.
Yeah.
Different time of year to
It's
harvest.
exactly.
So we got the dark.
There's like a big science behind like
Darkness.
when you happen to harvest it. Like
Yeah.
that, I don't know all that stuff. I just sort of put in the work every single year for my in-laws. But maple syrup is like the best sweetener in the world, in my humble opinion. This coming from a West Indian who, like my grandfather picked sugarcane. So I'll suck on sugarcane when I go down to the islands. But like, trust me, maple syrup is that ish. It's that good stuff.
And I wanted to show you too, because this is something that the guy only had 2 packs left. Oh, it's gonna be hard to see in my hand. This is the owner, by the way. He came and gave it to me. These little maple syrup sugar candies. Like they just melt in your mouth. But anyways, there's the tree tied up on the.
We've
car.
done those sometimes. Well, not we. My in-laws have made those at times. It's incredible the kind of things you can do. Like my sister-in-law makes these. Like when she was doing, my wife and my sister-in-law both did triathlons, and they would make these maple flavor like energy bite treat things.
Yes, like protein bars.
It's because you just need like a jolt of like energy, and it was like they're delicious. Like they're so good. There's like a little protein, and then you'd have like a maple syrup as like the sweetener.
Yep.
It's so versatile. I put it in my coffee sometimes.
Oh man, Case Shiller report. What? That didn't come out yet, did it? Oh, U.S. house prices for September.
Not moving that much.
So the house price index just came out, 414 versus 412. But I'll let Brendo talk about that. I don't know how important it is, but
Not really moving.
Yeah, it was the Case-Shiller home price index there. There was actually a move lower on that, surprising for the overall market, but down slightly. As expected, possibly, as we're finally maybe seeing a cooling off in the housing market, which would be...
We definitely have been on this side of the border.
It
but,
could,
yeah.
for sure. Just quickly, NVO, Novo Nordisk, downside in a pretty big way here, 2%, trying to roll over here. There's a study that came out involving their weight loss drug versus Eli Lilly's, showed far more significant positive results from Eli Lilly's versus NVOs, and you have some of the data there to the tune of significant numbers as well.
You guys, they studied about 40,000 people, so not an insignificant study, and about 15% of people studied there lost triple the amount of weight on the new Mounjaro drug, which is by Eli Lilly, as opposed to the 2 that are owned by Novo Nordisk, which are Wegovy and Ozempic. So not an insignificant amount of people studied and not an insignificant difference. You should know that Novo Nordisk trades on the OTC markets. NONOF, it's not on the NYSE or the New York. So if you're interested in that one, you got to go on to the OTC, Brendo.
Yeah, Eli Lilly not doing a lot of volume here, but also a little bit negative regardless of that. But anyway, let's get into everything else you need to know heading towards 9 o'clock here. Sharif's going to kick it off with a look at the market.
Yeah, Brendo, 45.62. That's where we closed out yesterday. We're still at that resistance level that we were at in mid-September. We've been talking about this level as a point of resistance, and we continue to hover around it. The overnight high, 45.64. The overnight low, 45.47. If we can hold the low, or if we can hold that 50-point level decisively, look for a bounce back up, and I still continue to believe 4,600 is the main level of next resistance.
The March higher continues, or a pause anyways, in the March higher continuing here. If you haven't done so, watchlist.tradertv.live. You can scan that QR code as well, enter your email address, and then you get that. Every single day has everything on it you need to know every day in the pre-market that's moving around. Top of the list this morning, and rightfully so, PDD. Impressive, to say the least here. 14.8% to the upside. Daily chart, just an absolute ramp higher so far, not only this year, but off the bottom if you go back to, I guess, the summer at least for PDD. 15% here on a beat.
I'm a fan of the Temu app. I've talked about it before on the show. It's not really an e-commerce company. It's more of a data company. That's really the truth about it, that they're selling you cheaper products to accumulate your data. Let's talk about how they did, though. Revenue up 94% year over year. Earnings up 35% year over year on the quarter. This is called the Walmart effect. Essentially, amid a dramatic economic downturn in China and against the backdrop of softer consumer spending in the US, looks like Pinduoduo and Temu app are basically luring in consumers with deep discounts and making inroads while maintaining, ironically, solid profitability somehow. So we'll see how they do.
Just be aware, Micron just coming out with updated guidance here, it looks like, for the first quarter 2024. First quarter 2024 guidance. I'll look through some of these numbers, guys, but just heads up on MU.
Yeah, well, the thing I saw, I just saw 4.7 revenue billion versus a forecast of 4.4, which would be, obviously that would be higher. Micron down 3% into this. Just if you're looking at Micron, significant level back into 72.5, 73-ish, and then the 50 periods at 70 even. So those would have been, those would be the levels to buy some dips on. But let's see those numbers come out, because that doesn't actually make sense why you'd go down initially off of that. But Pinduoduo, I don't even know where Pindy, yeah, no idea where that came from. Pinduoduo with this 15%. Remember what usually happens with Chinese ADRs on these gap moves. I know it's a strong stock. It has been winning pretty much the entire year. When BABA came back into lows and could not get going, this made a significant bottom and then just continued to run. I'm talking about mid-year here, that things really started to ramp up for PDD. Let's zoom it in a little bit. So we've talked about this before, previous resistance being support and all that good stuff. I don't think that comes into play today. If it does, then the stock has dropped $15. It's not impossible, it's just seemingly unlikely. So when you don't have, I believe Shreve calls it the blue sky setup, right? Like, you're not gonna have a lot of overhead levels to work off of. If you peel back the daily chart far enough, you have 151 and 143 significant resistance, so there is room to continue to go if it does. I generally think when you start to fill in that gap, if you want to buy the dip, I start looking at psychological levels like the 130 is going to come into mind. But I look at 135 and what's been going on here. If there's an initial trade at the open where it simply takes out this bottom and starts filling the gap in, sure, I like the notion of finding a dip buy, because that usually works on the Chinese ADRs. But if this simply takes out that bottom and flushes $3 or $4, that's generally a trade you want to be in and out of real quick on the Chinese ADRs to go. This is a strong quarter with a very good catalyst in Temu that is probably going to continue to grow and has been a trend that you do not want to fight. But in the absence of levels, I just need to see the pre-market low holds. If the pre-market low holds, then that can set up some trades off of that low or off of the 135. Until you see it, you're just sort of spinning in thin air. And when I look at the sympathy name, like a JD or an Alibaba, the fact that BABA is gapping to the downside, again, just sort of exemplifies the difference between these two names. BABA, if it were to get very weak, could retest the 75 bottom, which looks like a pretty good level. It bounced off there and went to 80 the first time. If we test that again, 75 does look like a good level to trade off of for Alibaba. Yeah, buddy.
More cookies, eh? Oh, gosh.
There's always. It's that time of year.
They don't come often. That's the thing. These cookies are the ones that mean everything.
Obi, the other day, it was on Friday, Brankles brought cookies in on the half day.
Ooh.
And so, like, we had two cookies each. I was done both of mine, I want to say, in the first, within like 10 minutes. Obi hadn't even finished his cookies, and it was like lunchtime.
The thing is, if you don't take a bite, you win. Because the minute you do, you have to pretty much finish it. Yeah, you're about to do one right now. So come on me. Okay, there we go. I was going to say come on me, and then you can eat it, but that's okay. All right, so someone asked me in the chat right now, what if a firm goes in the pre-market? Yeah, I mean, this is part of it. Down there, 29.90. Looks like it's trying to go. I'm trying to be patient with this. We still have 20 minutes for us to give us the level. I do have an order to break through 30.50, but it will not fire off in the pre-market. So I will not take this in the pre-market. I don't. Look, it could happen immediately once the market opens, but I want to just see real volume in this because honestly, I feel a little bit nervous about it hitting this off the open, off the pre-market. Need to see some volume in there. And then right now, Micron down more than $2, but it seems to be bouncing around a little bit right now off those bottoms. So we're going to talk about, oh no, actually we don't have chip names on there, okay. So for me, because we might as well do this, we have about 20 minutes to go. I still like the Intel short up here at 45, if we can get anywhere near that level. I mean, I'm sure yesterday, 44.50, pretty close to get there. So if we see something like this here today, I said on the sticky note to be patient, but that's pretty good right there. So if we can get up to that side, especially if Micron flips around and starts going, I really do like that. And then for the big dog over here, look, I'm still all about AMD, man. I love trading AMD. You guys know that, and thank you for your kind words there in the chat about AMD. But I really think that if we can hold above this 485, I don't know if this is a break long right here on NVIDIA, but this is going to be something. Again, it's on the sticky note. Go find it at TraderTV Sean, both on Instagram and on Twitter. But I just think we got to hold this level. I don't necessarily want to break because it could also be a top. But if we break higher, then I want to use this as support. So this is going to be a name that's probably a trade around 9:45, 10 o'clock. Let's just see it going. People are going to buy the dip on this name. Do you know NVIDIA is cheaper than Microsoft? It's cheaper than Apple. It's cheaper than most names out there that are part of the Mag 7 and anything tech related. So if you're going to think about that.
On a forward basis.
Forward basis, yep. For a forward basis PE, then I think that these guys have a lot of levers, man. And I mean, needless to say, NVIDIA's going higher. I don't know if it's going higher in the next 2 or 3 months or where it is, but if you buy this name and you talk to me in 6 months and it's not higher, then Sharif will buy you a Starbucks because honestly, there we go, 90% market share, yeah. So
which is pretty good.
This is going to be a good move here, 482.60. I like 485, but we got to hold that high.
All right, just quickly on that MU note, looks like they're expecting a EPS loss that is a little bit wider than what was first announced. So that seems to be it. And then they said gross margins to approach break even for Micron. Let's talk about Meta here. We had this move downside, I guess it was early afternoon yesterday, almost 2 o'clock, 10 to 2, on this FTC decision that came through. It took a while for this to come out. So it was kind of interesting as the overall market really wasn't doing much, kind of shopping around at flat. Meta ends the day basically at session lows. We're gapping lower this morning.
Yeah, Darren and I were wondering why this one was moving midday yesterday. Darren and I were wondering why this one was moving midday yesterday, and there you go. At issue here is a $5 billion settlement that the FTC reached with Meta back in 2019. The FTC is trying to increase the amount of that settlement. It's saying that it has jurisdiction over the quantum, not the court. What it's trying to restrain is Meta making money off individuals under the age of 18 and being able to use their face for facial recognition training and software. So we'll have to see how it does, but it's not an insignificant amount here, Brendo, that's at issue.
Yeah, I mean, if you zoom out on the daily chart, the move, not that big. Yesterday, we're just pulling back into prior highs here.
I mean, usually when it comes to these Mag 7 or the big cap tech names, when you get these FTC or antitrust sort of deals, you're looking for, okay, where do you buy the dip on it? It's a little trickier here. I mean, it's easy to say 330 because it's a nice round number, and then peel back to the 17th, and I look at it hold 330 at the open. But almost more significant was the dip and rip off 328. So look, that's the target area, I think. Another $5 down from here, and 28 to 30 is where I want to pick Meta up. So I'm talking about the day trade, obviously. So you get down to that price, I think it's worthy. We saw in the afternoon that 335.5, 336 zone. If it doesn't break that, then I'm looking short off that level. If it breaks out 336, I think it tries to fill the gap back into the upside. That's the kind of level, given where the futures are at. If we were to press higher into 336, I think we'd be testing that 16,000 on the NASDAQ. And if you find corresponding shorts in tech names when we're at 16,000, they have tended to pay off pretty well. So that would be the plan of action for me on Meta. I don't know if we get down to that dip buy price today, but if we do, once it breaches 330, I'm looking for the long into that 328 level. If you're failing that, I probably wouldn't want to fight it underneath.
Yeah, we wrote down I mean, again, it's on our watch list here today. It's on all the watch lists, which is a good thing. Meta, I just, I saw that big move down there yesterday, obviously in the afternoon. Huge move down there. We got that FTC notice there about Messenger Kids. Yeah, I just look at it as relatively weak, right? It's down 0.34. I like the fact that there's some kind of a catalyst here that traders could think negatively about, because if we are looking for a short, this is the only short idea that I really do have here today. I have Intel as a short, and then I have Meta. So I wrote down Meta at 336. Like, I don't know if we can get into this area, but that's sort of where we held yesterday in the afternoon before making that last move down. So into 336, I think we maybe could find something. So this is, again, a 20-minute chart. So there's 336. Kind of looks like a dip hold area there. We didn't break it. It was messing around back here on the 14th, 15th, in and around this level. So again, you're gonna have to pick a level. And for me, if we do, and again, to rip up $2 on a $330 name is just like a keystroke. So I don't think that there's any chance that we can get there. I think it's pretty high to get to 336. So I like that short there. But again, not something that I think you want to sit there and take against you. But if it comes up and hangs around 336, this is the short idea that I have. So I have Meta short and I have Intel short. And then, as Neil mentioned, I just wrote down 330 as a possible level there. I would like to see us break below this 330 and stay underneath it. So again, once we break below it, then we can use that as resistance. So I feel pretty comfortable trading Meta here today, and I think it's going to be something that we will definitely have a couple positions in during the day.
A bit of a pullback right now for the overall market, but just seeing Boeing back to pre-market lows right now, still holding on to a nice gain, 1.5%. I mean, it actually might be a little bit much as far as an RBC upgrade goes today, but the daily chart, as we've been talking about over the past couple of weeks, pretty impressive still for Boeing, now firmly above that prior high.
Yeah, the Royal Bank of Canada liking Boeing here, upgrading it from sector perform to outperform and raising the price target from 200 to 275. This is on the back of the Dubai Air Show, which took place a couple of weeks ago, where Boeing got high 200-something orders. Compare that to Airbus, which had like 80 or 90 orders. So it was either a doubling or a tripling of that. We'll have to wait and see how they're able to deliver, because we know they had issues with Spirit Aerosystems, their biggest contractor. So let's see how they do.
Yeah, that's going to be the big question mark. Can they actually get them out the door? So nice gain, though, today, guys, for BA.
Oh, you must see, get them out the hangar, baby. That's what it's, get them out the door. You don't roll a plane out the door, you roll it out that hangar. Sharif loves the bang, that bang key. I'm telling you, you trust me, like the last couple of days, you put the Stream Deck in front of Sharif, and it's getting a little bit out of hand. I'm just saying.
Just take it away then.
He's like it's like a little kid, but then the more you tell him, the more he ends up doing it. It's like, oh, sweetheart, don't say that word, and then the next thing you know, yeah, you're hearing the word fart every like 20, 30 seconds. Not that that's a bad word, but that's the first thing that came to mind that was clean that I could say. Boeing, look, I like the breakout on the daily chart. This 222 level, if we come to the chart for a second, I like that transition. This 222 previous high, you've broken that out. There's room to 230 on the daily, so I want to keep it pretty simple. As long as you're holding, and this previous high here is technically 221.5, so I think 221.5 matters. You'll have a bad wick in there, it doesn't really matter. As long as you're able to hold above that, I want to be looking for longs. That sets up a dip and rip at the pre-market low. That sets up a top break here at 224 for Boeing. It looks pretty bullish. The volume, not that great in the pre-market. The last time it made this kind of a move, it was very similar. If I can just zoom out a little bit further, the last time it made this kind of a move was right here. Bit of a consolidation, so it's multiple times here. This time it basically just gapped almost too far and then didn't have the continuation. When you had the small gap to the top of the previous range, it then broke out the top. There wasn't much of a dip and rip. You got the same thing happening here again. You get the consolidation, gap above, hold that previous high, and then look for it to break out that top. Room to 230 on Boeing.
Yeah, so we had, the last time we traded Boeing, we had a $7 or $8 winner on that trade, and it was breaking above this 211 or so area. It was very, very similar, and it was a trade that we had right at 930. It was very, very similar to that of Affirm, where it just took out sort of a pre-market high and kept going. So it was actually this day rate here, we had this whole day. So we had 211 up to 218. We had this whole candle, and that was a week ago, right? So now that I look at it again, I think to myself, like, when do I want to trade Boeing? I just want to trade it on breakouts. And so right now, 230 to me would be sort of the next kind of a breakout. And you are at a spot right here of 224, 225. So this is, again, another little spot that you go all the way back to June. And yeah, it looks like we want to take that out. So let's look at Boeing in and around this 224, 225 area for a possible break long. Up 1.5%, market down. ES also down today as well. So you're getting both sort of markets to the downside. Boeing, obviously, a component, Dow component there in the S&P, but as well. So nice move up there for Boeing today. I like the upgrade. I think it makes sense, but yeah, has to break through 224, 225, which I think it does. Oh, just real quick here before I go back to you guys. I just wanted to see quickly here because only 10 minutes to go. We will get the NASDAQ in 5 minutes, but man, let's just slap a little bit of an early fail on these imbalances because I'm not really seeing a whole heck of a lot out there. I see Fisker there, which is pathetic, down there near $2. I think this could be a buy at some point, breaking above $2. Let's wait to see that happens. There's Twilio that we've talked about, my beloved Uber. Where are we? 56. Jeez. Hit the sirens for Uber, man. That stock is look at this stock. Absolutely. I mean, that on the daily chart, man, like for a name that was very easy to get behind, Uber is really, like, it doesn't take much to like this company, and there it goes. I don't know if I like it now, but there it goes all the way to the upside, and I don't think there's any reason to sell it. Oracle's another name that we've bought recently in the long-term account. That seems to be working out. But it's Alibaba that gets my eye here, but not much else. Again, with a big day for PDD. Little bit decent volume, 500,000 shares, but look what Alibaba's doing, man. It's going the opposite way, so down 1% against the NASDAQ that's only down 0.2. This is another name that we're going to be adding to our short pile right now. Let's see if we get a bump up to 77 and change early. Alibaba could be doomed for today.
Let's talk some Affirm. We were discussing this time yesterday Shopify's move in November, which is pretty impressive. I was just noting Affirm is up a meager 85.6% in the month of November as well here. Back down a little bit this morning, but yeah, Jeffrey's coming through with upgrade today to hold, or raises their price target anyways to $30. But yeah, all kinds of green on the daily chart here for Affirm.
Yeah, and it wasn't a small price target upgrade, Brendo, from $9.50 to $30. That's big. Here's what they're saying. The upgrade is based on recent evidence of stabilizing cost of capital and capital markets activity, stabilizing, if not improving, credit performance and ongoing momentum in adoption rates for the buy now, pay later sector. We saw this yesterday. The consumer is squeezed. Higher rates are really pushing people away from credit card use. So they're going to the likes of Affirm and Klarna to kind of circumvent that, higher rate environment for the holiday season. Like I was saying to Brendo off camera, it's a great look. Year over year increases. Now, what I want to see is lower delinquency rates in the 3 and 4 months after the Christmas holiday season, and whether or not that's going to be an issue.
Yeah, I just double checked. It was 63% for Shopify. Affirm, guys, almost a double here in the month.
Almost a double. It's close, but no cigar. It needs to get to, I think, $36 for it to be a double. Is that possible today? It's not impossible. I think it's unlikely after the run that it had yesterday that it could do that again. It would actually have to be a bigger move than we saw yesterday to get a double up on the month. But as we say, when you have a 20% short float, a lot of things are going to be possible. It just rejected 30. So you're still running into some resistance at 30 to 31 on the daily is the next level of resistance. I think once you clear that out, it gets nasty potential for a squeeze. Now, if it's going to go there, dip running first. We already talked about the consolidation in front of 29 and that 28.5. We'll see what happens if it takes out that top, but we just broke that 30 into the downside, which is not necessarily the best line. I promised I would at least look at Wayfair. Look, if you were looking at all these retail names yesterday, if you had the break on Affirm, fair enough, but it was a good one, but Wayfair was the one missed. It's not doing as much volume. It's a decent short float in its own right, and the fact that it broke that 50 is a big one. Why this gets interesting today is a hold above 50 on Wayfair is holding the 50-period moving average. You can see the higher lows into this flat top break at 50 even. This sets up pretty well for a continuation to maybe 58 to $60. So I want to make sure this is on my radar. If there's a dip I want to look at Wayfair at that $50 level in addition to Affirm.
All right, Alibaba's still making the move down. We've already talked a little bit about Affirm here earlier, and I just think that it's, no, I just say, hey, what's up, Tony? In 30 seconds, if I can delay this, I'll give you more imbalances. So thanks for that, Tony Price. Ask and you shall receive. No, so again, Affirm basically goes exactly to the level that we were talking about there, 30.50. Not exactly, it goes to 30.30 right there. And then now it looks like it wants to potentially break that level. I think we can change our order to maybe go long if it breaks through 30.30. Let's see if it breaks through it, though. I'm switching the order to that level instead of 30.50. Maybe a little bit less shares initially, and then if we get through 30.50 after that, then I think we can run. So again, a good Cyber Monday, a good Black Friday, a lot of Affirm offerings out there. Someone even put in the chat that you could buy Starbucks gift cards with Affirm and things like that. So
it's ridiculous.
I really think that that's going to be a nice little forward move for them. So we'll wait to see if it does have some upside right now. I think this is a name that you can buy, hold, watch what happens at 31, and then after that, sky potentially the limit. Remember that we do have a short float with Affirm as well. Shout out to Trade Ideas, Trader TV, 20 or 25. Go try that. Right there, 20% short on Affirm. So that's definitely a level I like. And here we go. We talked about waiting out for the imbalances. So let me just get those to you real quick to see if there was anything that just hit on the NASDAQ. I don't see the NASDAQ moving, so no. To answer your question, Tony Price, and everybody that might be interested.
That one was a runner yesterday, RDHL.
RDHL, okay, so that's a dollar stock,
yeah.
So there we go. Again, 200,000 shares, come on. Hopefully that gets going a little bit as well. BABA's there. And then the other name that just showed up, I guess, wow, Amazon's 147? Wow. We're up 20% on this name in just about a month as well. So this is going to be a big mover there today, it looks like. And then where's our Palantir? Ooh, 19. Get down a little bit lower, and we'll be buying some more PLTR, baby.
The other hand, Shopify with a downgrade here quickly as we head towards the open. Piper Sandler with a downgrade and a price target cut. As we were mentioning yesterday, pretty impressive, though, for Shop this month as well.
Yeah, not a big price target cut, Brendo, but one nonetheless from 58 to 56. Here's what they're saying. They see growth and profit assumptions in shares. They see even a 50% penetration of the addressable market in 5 years. However, their issue is 50% of the company's growth is coming from ARPU and merchant growth in North America over the next 5 years, despite significant growth internationally. So we'll have to wait and see how they do. They're saying that the price is, the valuation is unsustainable. So maybe too good for where they are. Let's see.
We were chatting yesterday off screen a little bit when we were talking about this. There's a brand new building in downtown Toronto called The Well. Down at Spadina and Front, right by the Rogers Center. And Shopify just moved in there and took up a whole bunch of new office space as well. Neil, I saw your message there on SPR. I'm not seeing anything yet, though, on that.
Just a couple of things. So Boeing is just moved about $1 to the downside, and SPR is now halted. I quickly checked the whole page to see. It'll update. We'll get an update. Obviously, at this time of day, it's not going to be a volatility halt if you halt at this time. So like it'll be new. It should be news related. If it's information request, that'd be bad. But once that populates, NASDAQtrader.com trade halts is a great resource. But SPR is halted. While this stock is halted, I'm not putting a Boeing trade on. I think it should go without saying, but I'm saying it anyways. It can be part of the trading plan, but that throws everything for a bit of a loop there once you get SPR halted. Puts Boeing on the back burner, at least until we know what's going on there. Shopify, I mentioned this daily chart, 71.50. Let's go back to it. You managed to bounce off that yesterday. You've bounced off that in the pre-market, previous resistance into support. That's a level I want to look at. If we end up taking out the top today, great, fair enough. It feels like we have a better chance of testing the low at the open. But this is another one of these runners where it broke out on the daily chart just like Affirm did, and I'm looking for a continuation play here today on Shopify. So keep your ear to the ground. I mean, I'm not going to trade Boeing until I know what's up with SPR. Everyone do your own thing.
How much time do we have left? 1 minute right now until the open. I'm trying to find some trades that I want to hit real early here. I don't know. I mean, AMD is starting to fade out a little bit. You know, we did We did look for a short on Intel. We didn't necessarily look for one on AMD, but you can see it's gapping down just a little bit here into 122 for that. So there's AMD, just a little bit of a gap there. There may be an imbalance on that as well. And let me just have a double check on this because I do want to make sure that I'm giving you guys all the information here. No, so okay, so it's still nothing's changed on the imbalance locator. So the market's still below. I am initially looking short as we're below VWAP and below the 50 period, but you know, everything can change in a matter of literally seconds once the market opens up. And then also, you know what? I'm going to put a bid down here on Tesla in and around 232. That's a level that I liked. We can hold it. We'll just put a small amount of shares, 50 shares, 100 shares, something like that, and then see where it goes from there. But all right, here we go. Only 10 seconds left, and it's Adara on the bell.
Let's get going on this Tuesday in 4, 3, 2, and you know what to do.
All right, here we go. All right, so I think the early trade for me is probably going to be a firm as it's already bouncing upside a little bit here into 30-30s right there. So there we go. Now we are long on a firm. And remember, we were thinking about like areas where we're going to be in trouble if this breaks. What about downside again through $30 again on the downside? So if we do break below, let's execute a little bit out of this one as it looks like it could get a little bit spicy here on a break of a firm back in below $30. So we're long this name right now. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I just got that back into 30 as well. We went for the dip and rip. The first available dip ended up being 30. I like 29.80. I'll show you in a quick second. Meta's moving to the upside. 29.80 I like on a firm. That's going to be my up. But Meta's moving into the 335 zone here. It's at 334 as we speak. We talked about that 35.5 being the resistance level that I wanted to play a fade on that name. Intel, okay, Intel's popping downside. Yeah, okay, never mind. Intel popping to the downside here. 43.5 would be a support zone for it. As we mentioned with Boeing and SPR, Boeing moving down. It did try to fill in that gap a little bit here. But as long as SPR is halted, there will be no trade for me in Boeing. And Micron on that guide, that new guide, it's definitely leveling off here. And watch out for this to maybe retake some of these highs as the market challenges 16K.
Yeah, look at that nice move to the upside immediately there. So we did get out of some firm as it did break below $30. So a quick little 37-cent hit. We actually got a good price. We got like 98s, I think. Yeah, so that was actually a good fill for us on the downside, but a bad trade. And we're going to wait to see about 29.50. I just thought it could get going. If it doesn't, it doesn't, man. So unfortunately, we will take a little bit of an average in, but we're going to have to wait on that as that's the only trade that we have on board right now. Okay, so Meta's up there to 335, sorry. We're going to wait on that one. All right, so Tesla is making a move. Tesla did pop up to yesterday's high of 238.40 or so. So that could be one to look at as well coming through, but here comes Tesla. Again, watch out for the market. It's not really doing a whole heck of a lot right now. Meta, okay, so Meta gets to our 335 area, not quite to 336. So we have to wait for that. People want to look at Softy. I mean,
Microsoft is gone.
all these stocks are going to go, man. I mean, I love Microsoft. I think, like I said, this is going to be my largest holding in my long-term account. I talked about really liking this name off of 360 the other day with Chris Bretcher on the recap show. But wow, look at this one, man. Copilot leading the way right now. 381 is that top. This is all-time highs for Microsoft. So here we go, man. Yeah, it touched this yesterday. Let's see if it breaks it today. Maybe a break higher of 381 on tap here for Sir Softy.
Sir Palantir, I don't know why I'm calling it Sir, but it's up 1% and charging towards that 19.5. We had this one in the afternoon, and it was not much of a bounce off. It was VWAP. It gave you 19.20 a couple of times there, but that turned into resistance. Palantir, if you go out to the daily chart, it's trying to get back to that $20 level. The fact that it's leveling off 19 is a pretty darn good start. I like to join strength when I can see it, and Palantir, if it can break 19.50, great. If it dips back in, that 19.20 from the afternoon, I'm going right back to the well when it comes to that. Affirm, it was dip and rip. It just dipped, held to 30, and just got back into 30-30 there. So let's see if this can actually get to that 31 level. It looks like it's trying to go again. Shopify, I thought would be something we'd have right at that open for the dip and rip. That never got back into 71.5. It just got to 72, and now charging higher as well. But the real story is, I mean, it's Microsoft, it's Meta. I haven't really looked at the other Magnificent Seven names, but they're all looking pretty strong. Meta getting very close to that resistance at 335.5, 36.
Oh man, there it is, man. It's new all-time highs, new all-time intraday highs for Microsoft happening as we speak. So there it is right now. I am gonna take a 381 break. Again, probably hold it back to 380. I mean, I don't know. You know, like you want to be here for these breaks, but at the same time, you know, they are a little bit tricky to manage them when you get them really early. I mean, see my only trade today, Affirm, that didn't go. You know, it broke there. And I should have just waited for 30.50. Like why I have any other fill there on Affirm is really crazy. We should have actually not even been in this name yet. So like, how about that? You know, if we weren't in this name, we'd be clean on it, right? And we'd be able to wait for these dip buy opportunities as there goes Affirm.
I'm out. It broke 80.
Yeah, exactly. Breaking back down below. So we'll go 0 for 2 here. 0 for 1 me, 0 for 1 Neil here on Affirm as it's making the move down. So I was not really expecting that, but there it is. And I should not be in this. So it's my own stupidity here. We called the level, it didn't break, and we took it anyways. So that's ridiculous, and that's day trading, right? So hey, we're here for that. We break our own rules, and we go 0 for 1. So that's what Affirm's gonna do. We'll wait to see what happens now, but definitely a mistake by me. I mean, I wrote it down. I mean, it says right here, Affirm, 30.50 long. It didn't get there. So break your rules, pay the price, down to 29 now for Affirm.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can have a losing trade without breaking your rules, and that can happen. But like, it broke down to 29.80. That's where my stop was. I reloaded it, didn't have to, but I did reload it. It's the reload that'll take the L. The initial trade did win. Now we got to go back into the secondary level, which was where we barcoded in the afternoon. So I do have the dip in here into 30, risk about 20 cents on it. If it gets back into 60, fair enough. But did not need to reload that a second time. Could have been patient and waited for it to dip down into the next level. I want to get to Roku if we can for a quick second, because the other name that went it's still, wow, Roku. Roku went nuts yesterday, and that was one that got missed a little bit for most of the session, looking at the retail names. Zooming out for you guys can see off this 100 level, and we're not going to be able to go. There we go, far enough out there. The next level up for Roku is going to be 110 even. It's still got $5 to go till the next resistance level. Brent, oh, never mind. Sorry, I thought we were going to Brendan there for a second.
That's okay, that's okay.
I'm again out of Affirm, so every time we get in, I'm showing you where I like the out. I want to play the dip into the previous level. It's now broken successive levels. So in on the bounce, out, out. Not going to hold on to when it's falling like an absolute rock. But once again, you've got Roku going absolutely nuts here. I think I want to join this party. Previous resistance into support is always the first thing I like. Whether or not you can get that on Roku remains to be seen.
Man, Tesla is still making that move, guys. Poosh. Wow. I mean, I'm glad I heard that story about the Cybertruck, but not glad that we picked another level other than 236, because 236 is monstrous right there as it holds, and then there goes Tesla right now trying to go higher here. So let's just see I mean, this is just a 1 minute chart. Okay, I can't even zoom back out anymore, so I have to find out what's going on with that. But right now, that high, 239 basically came into play 2 days ago, so that could be a level there, 239, to try to go longer. But if it does pull back in here for Tesla, maybe we have to try that 236. I'm still waiting for 232. I guess I can cancel that one as that's not going to come into play. What else there? AMD, yeah. I mean, this is another level there that we were actually looking short on AMD and on Intel, but sort of longer on NVIDIA if NVIDIA could hold. But you can see this is pretty choppy right now. Would rather play the momentum in a name, and NVIDIA right now, AMD pretty choppy. NVIDIA, same thing. Like it comes up to 483, back down to 481. It's done that about 3 times here. So back and forth, $2 on a $400 name. That's recipe for disaster for your boys. So I'm going to stay away from that one until we get consistently movement one way. And right now, it's actually looking like it consistently wants to move down. So what about a 480 break there then on NVIDIA? It's making that move down as here comes the NASDAQ. And it's kind of lucky, not lucky, but you know, we could have been looking short at 381 as well, instead of looking long. So right now, Microsoft on a little bit of a pullback. I'm going to cancel that 381 long and see if we can get longer somewhere here on a pullback for Softy.
So something setting up right here. Zscaler, almost said Zscaler. Zscaler to the downside off earnings. They beat top bottom. It was portions of their guide that didn't look very good. Their billing specifically for Zscaler. But you're doing the classic, hey, we like the earnings, we're going to buy it up at the open. So you broke out the top here at 184. You're stair-stepping it up. You can see 186 starting to hold. The scaling will be off because of the gap, but 184 holding back here on the breakout price, and now 186 is the higher low. So if we can start to level off here, I would look for a long 186, give it about 50 pennies back into that previous high. But Z-scaler should be in play here. This is one of those mornings, like the top idea on my list, my notes this morning was Boeing, and then SPR halted. So I don't want to force something, but that Boeing trade to me is not available until I see something going on with, and I haven't seen what's going on with Spirit just yet. We don't know what the news is. We'll find out, obviously, at some point. Meta did get to 335.5 while I was embroiled in that Affirm fiasco. But yeah, it does feel like that's the weak spot. 16,000 on the NASDAQ is likely to coincide with this as well. So that 335 still very much in play. And the last one for you, Neo, I'm on the bid at 3s. I'd probably buy some 1s and 2s if we get down there. Just keep in mind this has been bouncing off 10 to 12. So if it were to start leveling off in that 10 to 12 range, I would look for a bounce play there as well. It's been good support off that level, and you're approaching these all-time lows, like I almost said 52-week lows, all-time lows. And there's 1 million shares on the bid at 15 right now on Neo.
Okay. Yeah, I like some of those Chinese ADRs. We'll have to check them out as PDD, of course, continues to make a move right now. Okay, well, we'll hit the sirens a little bit because we did start a new position. We did talk about buying some Microsoft, so we did do that. We're long at 80s. We just took them out at 20, exactly at 20. So that's 40 cents. Here it comes again. I don't know, maybe let's take another piece out now. I was waiting for 50s, but it keeps on bouncing here. There he goes. We'll take a 22 out. So we'll spend a little bit of money for this one. We're not super happy, obviously, about our Affirm trade, as we're still long there at 29.50 right now. We did get a nice little dip buy for 29, sorry, on Affirm, but you know, would like to see this one get upside a little bit more. Maybe we'll take a little bit out in the 30s again. I was waiting to turn this name profitable here today, but I don't know, like it's definitely not reacting the right way. Let's just sit here, we'll go 1 for 2 with Affirm being the mistake, and then hopefully Microsoft can help us out a little bit to the upside, but we'll wait to see. We're already out at 20%. We just took 2 fills there, one at 20, one at 23 or whatever it was. Here we go, now Microsoft's trying to go. So I still have offers upside now. One, actually I don't, I just canceled it. I have one at 381. So if we can get higher than that, let's go. I feel like I need to put something here at the 80s. I'm surprised that got canceled there. So let me just put it back there. In the 60s or so for Softy, and then again in the 90s. Let's see if it goes. And then honestly, man, the bell of the ball today, Affirm, just goes all the way to the downside. Now let's see if it gets going, make that go into the upside rate here. I did see yesterday for lunch, it was Nashville chicken sandwiches. So
they were popular.
They were pretty popular, I'd imagine, as well as Sharif's killing his 13th
the salad
egg this
was
morning.
Pinduo Duo, by the way.
Pinduo Duo, by the way. All right, let's see if we get it out on Affirm, and then we'll go over to a Pinduo Duo, 29.30s or so if we can get a nice move to the upside.
So just first, before we get to Pinduo Duo, I did have an in and out. I basically told you there was 1 million shares on the bid at 15. I just joined 16. When they filled it, I got out on the other side. So that if I see size on the bid, then it's my reason to be in, and I just get right out. 710 is now bouncing. 710 is that level on the daily, but 7 even is the 52-week low for Neo. That, or the all-time low, 52-week low. The all-time low for NIO. You just broke $7 even, 700 on NIO. And it's at it just bottomed at 710. So this is getting to that bottom, it looks like, possibly in the next like 10, 15
the all-time low was way lower than that, but that's good. Okay.
It's at least a 52-week low. I thought it was the all-time low. It's definitely the 52-week low.
Yeah,
I thought it was the all-time low. If that's on me, if it's not true.
Yeah, the all-time low is $1.70.
PDD 138 just got taken out, and it's trying to rebattle above that level. So I was looking dip, gap fill into 130. It got to 133 and no further. But if this is going to continue its run, we talked about there being room to the upside. It needs to get back above 138 or hold VWAP, and then we can jump back into that bad boy. Coinbase. This is trying to get going. If you're stair-stepping it up, it's a very messy open for coin. So I want to see a little bit more direction there. Not really seeing anything too crazy. And I just saw someone say, who's dumping Tesla?
Really?
I don't know who's dumping Tesla, but I can tell you somebody dumped Rivian at the open. And when Rivian does this, my general thought is try to join the stair step to the downside. Rivian was actually strong yesterday. Were it to fill the entire move back in, that's room to $16 even. That puts 16.5 right in my front view, obviously on my rear view, right in front of the mirror for me. Whatever. I like 16.5 for an entry on Rivian, the way this is starting to come back down.
All right. Yeah, me too. I'm going to wait for Tesla 235, 236. I think that's going to be a good one. Here it comes right now. So get ready to rumble as the market is now taking down, not its pre-market low, but a decent level right now. It just touched 16,000 and then fell out. So watch out, man. These names falling out of bed a little bit here. And on the wrong side of the bed so far, as you're underneath VWAP, you're underneath the 50 period, and I'm holding long. So not a great feeling right yet here for this market, today. So we'll wait. I still like Microsoft. I still think it's going to be a good long. I'm still waiting to buy some Tesla. And if it does make this move into 236, which it just did, I'm actually down here near 236 flat for this name. So we'll wait to see if it does get us long, and then watch out for 235.50 if it essentially does wind up dumping down there. And then, yeah, as Neil mentioned there, I just wanted to say that's 100% right, man. That 7 is like crazy.
It's a huge level.
And we haven't seen it since 2020. But the reason why I knew, I was going to say $2, but it's actually $1.20 or so. And the reason why I remember this is that we had state sponsorship starting to happen down here with the government. So that's
the start of the run.
That's the funny thing about NEO, and why that guy could say NEO will never go bankrupt. It's because it's owned. Like, we already know the Chinese government's going to step in and save that name. So that's
just very quickly.
Yeah, sure.
RDHL's tap
halted,
just
right?
went from 260 to 295.
Kaboom.
And now 280. It's all over the place. It's a 171 halt, and the theoretical auction price now back to about 270. That's insane. 270. So obviously, I kind of doubt that it opens $1 higher, but that's what's being indicated right now on RDHL. That is wild. It was actually that was $1 play yesterday, and okay. So good luck to you if you're in that one. It looks like a 10-minute halt, or it would have opened in the last. I thought it was about to imminently open. It was just 5 minutes now. That's why I sort of interrupted, but it looks like a 10-minute halt for them. I'm into Intel. When the futures made that fail, the 44 level also wicked up and down underneath. If this gets above 44.10, I got to bail on Intel because it's actually looking relatively strong. We see the tap because it comes in the feed automatically at Daytrade the World. It is something that is in the SIP feed, but you got to talk to your broker if you don't see it. Let's go to Adara at the desk.
X running to the upside right now, up about 1.7%. CNBC talking right now, there is more potential conversation around M&A for X US deal.
All right, so we can have a look at that one there. Will Elon buy the symbol or not? Right there. Okay, so right now, there it goes, man. We are almost there. A couple more pennies, and we got our first club member today, and it's an easy one. We bought it twice. It's Microsoft. The reason why I say it's an easy one, I mean, no trade is easy. I don't mean the trade was easy. It's just, it's been strong. We know this name. We like it. And there it is right there, Sharif. It is your first Dollar Club member of the day as we break through 381, and your boy takes it. So there it is, man. It only took 17 minutes right there today to do that one. But we did lose $1 or almost $1 on Affirm. So we had back and forth clubs there. Thank God we only lost 50 cents on this, but Affirm did make that move down. And by the way, we bought some 29s and just got some out there at $29.40 on an average price. So let's wait to see what's happening right there. We told you that we're kind of all about Microsoft, and there it is again. I believe the #1 name for myself, or Intel, or AMD. I'm going to do that math for you and get that all figured out. Speaking about AMD, though. All right, it is making that move down. So right now, AMD's trying to break. Again, looking pretty shady right now. I feel like it wants to go to the downside. I'd much rather get it at the 50 or at VWAP, which is 122. Let's check out the biggest and the baddest. This must be below 480. There it goes right now. So breaking through 480 goes Mr. NVIDIA to the downside. So the shorts are probably in now, which is making me a little bit nervous, but hey, there it is right there. It's Microsoft, baby. It's $1.30 now in the money as we slap around back and forth again. This is what I said, man. No matter what the market conditions are. The market is flat and doing absolutely nothing. If you trade the right and wrong names, this is what can happen. So you want to look for the best names. I think we got it right now in Microsoft. And just before I throw it back, we got another piece out there on a firm. A firm just hit 50s. So we got 50 clean. That's where VWAP is, so we took that fill. Hopefully it rips. Jesus, here we go, man. There it is. It's a $2 club right now as we're back, baby. It's a Tuesday. Feels like a Monday. It's a Tuesday. Here we go, man. 381.50. Let's go, Mr. Softy. We're back, baby.
Mr. Softy to the upside. The market's trying to challenge. If 16,000 goes, Microsoft could, Microsoft every single day is making new highs, obviously, but I was about to say it's going to make another new high, but it's been making them every single day. Meta has not broken 335, so I still want that. You'll see Zscaler just broke out the top. I was going for the dip buy, but it broke the consolidation up. Not a ton. The spread right now is 30 cents, so you can imagine what the spread was when it broke that high. I'm going to try and get picked up on the way back in. It's not all roses for the market. Refrain, which we mentioned, just made a fresh low. I got some in there at 45. I added on the way back downside at 42. So I end up with a 43.25 price in here. Gonna get some out on the way to 16 even, just to remind everybody. This bottom from the other day was 16.10. So seriously, yesterday 16.10. Beneath it, 16, I think is a different story. If it gets to 16.10, I am all out of that trade. But the Zscaler move, pretty impressive to set upside. And PDD also still going. But it has not taken out that high. I want to be in here off VWAP. The next VWAP bounce, that's the confirmation, and then you grip it and rip it for Pinduo Duo. Alibaba not necessarily doing the same thing, but 75 even just held, I'd say rather nicely. It's already up like 50 cents. A retest and a double bottom, I think I look for the long at that 75 on PDD. But the new position for me just became Zscaler, and then Refrain, once we saw the relative weakness, we join on the first available curl. It breaks a low. Ring the register on some of that. But let's see how these cybersecurity names are going to go. Nick Dubs, can you revisit Wayfair? Sure. Does it have just what you need? I have no idea. But Wayfair not doing a heck of a lot. 50 is the big level. That's where it broke out from. And it couldn't take out the high. Like without a break at the top, I don't see too much of a trade here. Either it breaks the top or retests one of these support levels. Anything in the middle is just that. It's diddling.
Yeah, we don't want to be too much diddling in any middle right now. We do have a $2 winner. Whoops. Okay. There goes Tesla. All right, I was going to say we are going to test Tesla here for 50 cents, and there it goes. So we did try at 236. Actually, for some reason, oh yeah, we did lose exactly. Okay, good. I was going to say for some reason it looks like we lost more, but we did not. As it comes down, we got it in and out immediately. I couldn't even talk about it. So there goes Tesla right back into the downside. That was, again, smaller starter position than we had talked about. We're waiting for 232. So let's put a bid down there for Tesla in case it does get 232 because that's not the greatest level that we just tried, but we'll try it again if it does come through. Again, Microsoft still trying to go as well. Okay, are we bouncing now off 235? I'm going to wait because we did the work down there at 232. So let's just put a 232, 25 or so fill. See if that comes in. And then if it does, man, we'll panic on that one. I still feel like I got something in my eye. There's 232 right there. So a little bit of a dip buy opportunity. That's what we're going to wait for. So let's just do that now. Not really my bad because we wanted to get into that one. So yeah, Tesla, real quick, not much damage done. But what's up, Adara?
HNRA, this one's on the Amex, up about over 100% right now. Basically announced that it is going to release its first consolidated financials for the fiscal year ending in December 31st, 2023. And it's already completed its acquisition a couple weeks ago, but this one is definitely of note. Low float, lots of volume here, guys.
Yeah, watch out for those low float names. Again. I think it's, yeah, I'm rubbing my hands every 2 seconds. Oh,
like, I wonder at least you're getting cold because I'm thinking I have like blood circulation problems here because like, anyways.
This time I'm seconding that I'm interested in a coffee on that last little order. PDD's trying to take out this high again. 19% almost. But I got to get back over to Intel just very quickly because
by the way, there's your Neo.
This 44 level, I know it's getting there too. I'm on the bid at 3. I can't. Okay. I'll get filled before it breaks 7 even. Nice. Like that's it's impossible for it to get there. And sometimes you'll do that at a big level. You'll put an order out there. I don't have to dedicate a level 2 to it if I don't want to or a chart. But Intel just retook the 44 level to the downside. Once it gets into the 80s, I want to start taking some out and see if I can't get some reloads off this 44. And like the futures, just very quickly for you guys, the futures did wick 16,000, and you're playing a 40 handle range back and forth. So as long as we're in here, you want to do some, well, you don't have to, but you can do some scalping off of key levels while you are there. NIO, it wants it. It's at 06. I went long in front of that size. That size immediately got taken out, that million share order. So we did lose that 3 cents. Now I'm just looking for this 7 even. 705, the current low. Let me do this live for you. I'm expecting there to be at least 1 million shares on this bid at 7 even. I mean, you can see this deep in the book, I can already see about 600,000 shares. So there's going to be 1 million on that bid at 7. It's just a matter of it getting down there. When you're trading off a level like this, you kind of want it to go all the way and not just halfway. So it looks like we're going to, I think we get it today, but I'm going to watch that very closely. I just got 28s on Rivian to the downside, so this continues to go to the gates of hell. This was so strong yesterday on Rivian, and like the announcement was that you can now lease a Rivian. That's the new thing. Which,
Okay.
I mean, more ways to be able to get it you'd think would be a positive, but the market seems to literally not care. I thought it was,
I mean, I thought that was good news,
thought it's
but
good
I mean,
news,
I
too.
guess it depends on the leasing rates, of course, because right now, I mean, the rates are going to be pretty.
Well,
shitty,
they're not gonna be
so
good.
if you can't afford it at some point.
The rent's too high.
Yeah. Okay. So, just talking about a few different names here, because again, you know, is there a buyer here at 29 or not? I mean, we're sitting here on a firm. We're going to wait to see. We've already taken some pieces out there at 40s and then at 50s again. Obviously waiting for a little bit higher now, but where are we going on this name? I mean, there's 29. It keeps on bouncing. We already took one fill there, and I'm not trying to make like more of a mess than a firm's already been. So I know we're still sort of talking about all that. I did want to, I do have an order right now for NVIDIA, but it's near 480. I should have, again, you know, hindsight's going to be part of this game every single day, but it's like once that broke, I was talking about 480, and once it broke there, you know, that should have been a short, and you would have had really no problems up to 481. That's where VWAP was. You know, this is the trade that I've missed for sure, down $3. I mean, I was sort of staring at it and thinking about it, and the same thing true pretty much of AMD when it wasn't as key of a level, but right there when we broke the pre-market bottom. And again, you know, Neil Nye, Brendan, Sharif, well, Brendan doesn't trade as much, but Brendan, Nadera, everybody is going to miss trades, like Neil said. Like, that's why I messaged to him out loud, said that watch out for Neo at 7. I mean, some of these levels that are coming through, you want to trade them, so you got to be there for that, right? And that AMD level right there at 121, if we can get a bounce back up, I like that. I know you're already shorting Intel, so I don't need to talk about that chip name. Oh,
by the way, that RDHL, it's
Yeah.
still halted. Obviously, look, when it comes to volatility halts, they're supposed to be 5 or 10 minutes long. On rare occasions, it's longer. I double-checked. It's a volatility halt, so I can't explain why it's not open. From time to time, this happens. If you're trading it, just go to that website. It should give you some kind of a quote resumption time. It says quote resumption at 9:40 right away, which would generally mean that the trade time should be 5 or 10 minutes later, but you've seen nothing on what you can watch this page, but your guess is as good as mine. I remember when Funware was halted for like an hour and with no explanation given. So, good luck to anybody that's in that stock.
Foodware, yeah. Oh no, Funware was.
That was the day the
because
game.
of DWAC and all that.
But it was stupid. Basically, people were trading Funware sympathy to DWAC. DWAC went up multiple times, halted multiple times, and then Funware halted the first time. And then as DWAC was going up, they just kept it halted, and they didn't open it back up till DWAC was coming down.
Right.
Like, it was disgusting because basically people couldn't take the profit on their Funware trade, which, I mean, that's not fair. I mean, but I guess things don't have to be fair in some people's estimations. So NIO filled 3s. Like, I had 3s. I have a bid at 2s. I had a bid at 1s. When I have a bid at 1s, I shouldn't be speaking past tense because I have bids at those prices. But it's bouncing off 3 now. I just took some out 6. We'll get it out in front of 10 if it gets there, and then see where it can go. If this happens to be it, it'll be a bit of a disappointment because I didn't really get everything. But I can't make a trade to 01s. That's not always how it works when you trade off an even dollar level. So I have some of Neo. I didn't actually get all in because I was never going all in at 3. Intel, oh, give me a break. It got to my order at 87 at VWAP and is now already bouncing. So that just tells me I need to be on the other side of VWAP here. Intel actually stair-stepping it to the upside. I got to be careful with this because I mean, the market's not really doing much, so I like the level for the short. But above 44 is a bit of a breakout price. 43.30 I like for support. As far as Micron goes on that updated guidance news, they're down 4%. It couldn't hold on to 75. I would think that'd be a good thing for the Intel short. But that gets retested and fails. Maybe I should just trade Micron instead. We'll see. But RDHL, just a quick update for you. Did open back up. That's insane.
RDHL, where?
It opened up at 2:30. So I can tell, my best guess, they didn't open this up for that long because of liquidity issues. They're like, there was no liquidity to open up with. That's why you get a gap like that. So it's out of the zone where it makes sense for me to trade it off the dollar made sense, off of halt levels. Sometimes you can do. This is now out there in the ether. So good luck, everybody. And you're right, Hampton's trader. Meta is getting back to that 335 half. This is kind of strong.
Meta? I liked Meta, but damn it.
See, this is the level I like. I missed the first trade. Do you just take it the second time because you like the level? Market weak, market red, and this is showing me like a bull flag setup. You don't always have to take the fill in that situation. So I'm going to... My gut's telling me to pass on this one and maybe look for longs on Meta because that's what the strength is telling me. I don't have to make that short trade. Not at all. Rivian... That one continues down. We don't get 1610, but it just bounced off 1617. That might be far enough if you're wondering where I'm getting 1610 from. Nothing crazy, it's just yesterday's low. So I'm expecting, you bounce off yesterday's low or you don't. Either way, I'm taking the trade into that bottom. And if it gets there, great, I'm out. If it continues, fantastic for it. And one more. I thought Roku would set up a lot faster than this, but it pulled back and is only now trying to hold those previous yesterday's highs. So if it gets back above 104, that looks like a breakout past yesterday's highs again for a continuation here in Roku. But that's a big reject on Roku. You need to see that strength come back into this one.
Okay, here we go, guys. It's a nice move to the upside right now as we just had consumer confidence come through. So 102 versus 101. Nice number there for consumer confidence. And oh my God, here we go right now. Spin the money a little bit for your boy, Affirm, which can still go to hell. I mean, where's my gates of hell? Right there. Thank you so much, Affirm. It just went up into 65 there. I don't have an offer. I was waiting at 75. We've now switched it up into 65. So hopefully we'll run a little bit on this. News back. As we just missed a 65. It went to 65, but we did not get filled right there. So we'll wait to see if we can get that to the upside. But for right now, it's a Dara, and it's happening now.
Yeah, we did just get that consumer confidence number. It came in at 102 compared to consensus of 101, and it was a little bit lower than the previous, which was 102.6. That is consumer confidence. Here, the Qs were a little bit negative right now, trading down about 0.2%. Nothing too significant here in terms of stocks doing things of note. We have ChargePoint. We actually were trading at all-time lows, recovering a little bit, still down about 9% after getting a downgrade from UBS to neutral, lowering the price target from $9 to 2.25. We also have Zscaler on watch as well. Now recovering a little bit to the upside after trading a lot lower pre-market and post-market yesterday following its earnings report. Brought to you by Surge Trader, where traders can get a funded trading account up to $1 million and keep up to 90% of the profits. The program has simple rules and no time limits. Go to surgetrader.com/TTV and use the promo code TTV for 10% off.
I like that.
Thank you very much, Adara. We definitely like a good deal. Who doesn't like a good deal? I mean, if you don't like a good deal, then why was everyone shopping so much on Black Friday?
Yeah, that's right.
PDD, it's leveling off here. So look at the tight consolidation off the top. I think now is where it probably pulls back in. Either it breaks 140 quick time, or we get back down in here to VWAP. That's the next look for me. I'm going to get out of Intel. It couldn't give me the dip. I was able to get some back in off that 10 level, but now all of a sudden you're breaking out on INTC. I had a dip level to 43.30. It never got there, so 44 was resistance for a short. Now you're breaking out above it. This one sets up for a reverse here off this 44 level. Once you're breaking out like this, I don't want to fight Intel. If you go to the daily chart, it is trend up to 45. So once you're above that 44 and looking trend, then I think you got room to 45 even, which has been the resistance level, no questions asked, on Intel. I might have missed the shot at that bottom on Rivian, which is still a NASDAQ stock, Neil. There we go. So Rivian, it's still consolidating off the 15. What I'm going to do, I'm going to cancel the bid. And if it bounces one more time off this 16.15, I'm going to get back out manually in the 20s. It looks as if this is making a bit of a bottom here on Rivian and not getting all the way into 16 even. So the short was a join. Wasn't an original idea to go short Rivian. It just happened to consolidate in a stair step to the downside. And I like a stair step pattern when we see it, but there it is. It just bounced again. So I'm going to get out. It just bounced off 16.10 with a higher low. So Rivian once again looking like a flush city. That stock, I don't know, it's nasty. The good news for Rivian is it's not Fisker. Fisker's down another 3.5%. Yesterday was a $2 break down to 183. It is yet to find the bottom, and I'm not sure it will. That 178 level, or was like, I guess it's 179. I thought it was 170, doesn't matter. That just got taken out here on Fisker. So I'm pivoting over to Fisker. This consolidation under that previous low sets you up for like a 180 stop-ish trade on FSR. So I'm going to sit in the consolidation. If it breaks 180, that's kind of an easy out for me. I want a short weakness where I can as opposed to strength.
Yeah, I just, so first of all, Microsoft's, again, still there. The market's starting to go back up to the upside a little bit here. Remember, we do have Fed speak all day today, so I think Waller right now is speaking, or somebody is. So here we go. We'll take an initial trade here on Amazon. Let's see where it goes. You can see right now we are long at 65. Look, we're going to go so far here 1 for 3. Microsoft's a big win, Affirm, although right now Affirm is $1 in the money. We did talk about a 29 buyer, so we do have that one now, 95 cents in the money here, almost $1 as that's going. So we're good hold. We did take a bunch out here at 50. Now we're trying to see about a higher move here for this name. So far, so good on that one. And then we're going to try, where's my Amazon offer, dude? Did we not get it out? Oh, we did. Okay, so there it is right there. Spin the money right there. We just put this one on as well. We'll take a quick 20 cents there on Amazon and then see where we go from here. So far, so good on AMZN long against 146.50. This is just like a little trade to see if it could work out, and so far it is. So that's a nice trade back up to the upside right now as we just continue to rock, man. Good. So far, so good. Tesla doing Tesla things. I mean, there's that move off the open. It was actually initially to the upside, and then that's kind of a little bit later. So it doesn't make that move until about 9:40, which is kind of funny to say that that's so much significantly later, but it doesn't really make that move. And then now trying to get back up. We did take a 50-cent slip up right there on that. We didn't slip up. That's just the trade that happened. There goes Affirm is now $1. That's fine. Amazon pulling back a little bit. That 200 periods at 147. So let's just put an offer somewhere near there. See if we can get a 95er on that one. I'm just trying to get out of a little bit here. As I said, the market is what it is. And right now it's pretty flat, but we've got some good bangers on so far here. As there it is, now we can finally put this one into the dollar club. Still don't like the trade, still lost on it. But there it comes. I mean, to have been able to hold it would have been one thing. There it comes again. And look, again, we have the right names. We're looking at the right names here, but we should have just been a little more patient, and that's always going to be the key whenever you see something like this. You're going to say more patience. And the thing is like I said, and I want to thank everybody in the chat there, because we should never have been long in the first place. I mean, this did not break 30.50, which was our level. So it's kind of just like when you have a plan and you don't follow it, then you're going to get hit. So far, we followed our plan on the other names, and it's been okay. Sans Tesla right there. We're going to have to wait to see if this one can come back in as well. But I feel like just getting some out here on Affirm as it's bouncing around 30. So let's take another fill. We'll take this out and see where we can go from here. But Affirm basically back to day's high again, where we should have been waiting in the first place.
Speaking of day's high, approaching day's high is coin. I'm going to get to, I see a lot of people in the chat asking about Mara. You are getting a bit of a move back up in Coinbase. I'm going to quickly show you Bitcoin because that's what matters a lot of times here. You are potentially breaking out. This is a 15-minute chart on Bitcoin, 37.5. If this breaks out, pick it and rip. Whichever one you happen to be looking at, whether it's Riot, Mara, Coinbase in particular, this is the one that looks like it wants to go as we speak. Yesterday's high, 121.5. That's held pretty decently after we had that wipeout bottom. So you fake break the bottom and come right back up. Now I want to see consolidation above VWAP, and then we'll jump into some Coinbase. I am in that Fisker trade for sure. And then we go back over to Mara. This is the bigger, it's the more short float ish name, like the squeeze-ish name, as opposed to coin. They both have a short float, but this is already at the high of the day. So it's a little stronger than Coinbase. And the last time this was the case, I traded this over coin. Usually I like Coinbase, but this is already showing you excessive strength. So if we're going to get something as that 37.5 breaks, Coinbase is fine, but this is just shaping up a little bit better on strength, up that 16%. Let's go to the desk with Adara.
We have some news regarding the SPR, Spirit Aerosystems halt. Right now, it's still halted, but it turns out the news was there are some executive changes, including the departure of the COO and an executive vice president. So keep an eye on this one right now, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that might put back into play, Boeing for me. Again, like things like executive change. I mean, Boeing. Okay, Boeing just went $3 to the upside. Okay, don't chase it. Look, I like the long on Boeing. It was 221.5. That was a previous gap fill. Let's go back to the original plan. Like that was a previous resistance level. I was looking for a bounce off there. Then Spirit got halted, and that's caused Boeing to go down. So I guess I can look back at the original plan, which was long in front of 221.5. I'm not seeing any particular reason not to still take that kind of a trade. So if we consolidate and dip here, we'll jump into Boeing. Obviously, it would have been nice to have just bought the bottom there, but you got to know what's going on first, right? If you trade blind, who knows? Like it could have been anything when you're halted for news. It's frustrating, but you never know. Like the worst case scenarios, you'd rather not be in the trade. If the worst case hits and you just happen to go long, Spirit opens up and it's disastrous, Boeing could be down 5 or 7%, and it wouldn't surprise me.
What's not surprising me either is right now, as we'll ring some cash registers on, I mean, Amazon owes me nothing, but if you add up all the money I've made on Amazon and all the money I've spent on Amazon, probably Amazon wins right now. So let's see if we can change some of that here, as there it is, man. We've already taken some profit. It fell back into 50s. We reloaded it. Oh yeah, give me a good opportunity to do this. And then now we'll wait to see where we go from here. Again, it's not like I'm only holding 50% of basically what we want to hold right now. It isn't super strong today. I mean, it's down relatively against the market. So this is not going to be a name that we're super, super excited about for sure. But great call by the professor when he noted it out. I was like, yep, I see it as well. And there's the 29 hold on Affirm. Professor, it's up $1.30 from that level right there. So again, we should be perfect today. Well, no, we would always have had the Tesla, but we should be 3 for 4. The problem is, again, taking that top break, and look where it stopped again, right at that top. So, hey, man, foolish me not putting an order out right now. And hey, if it goes back up to the upside and rips through it, great. Maybe we will take a long through 30.50 if it does take that level, but let's just do our diligence here and make sure that we get out again at this top. I actually was too busy looking at Amazon, as Amazon's looking like it wants to break right now lower as well as we take VWAP. So we're pennies away right now from getting out of this, as we're below VWAP. And like I said, relatively weak in the market. I really think you want to be short today. Honestly, I'm not getting, oh man, where did this go back up to? 478.78. We are at 479.80. So this did not get close enough to our VWAP trade. Obviously there goes NVIDIA. Nice move back, and then the move back down. I thought I would be getting out of Amazon here. I got to double check this stop order. We should be out now. I'm gonna take a little bit here at 47s, as it did break 50s. Let's be a little patient on this, but I thought I had an out breaking through 50. Let's get out of half of what we have.
So a couple of, as the market goes down, this 40 handle range is ridiculous, but that's what we're dealing with. We just bounced again off it. You'll see 2 new positions. They're both the last 2 longs we just talked about, Boeing and Mara. So there's your bounce off the low. It's a bit of a double bottom working with the overnight lows, and then a higher low being put in. But it's not really, this higher low isn't doing much of anything for the market because we're not getting back to 16,000 just yet. That'll be the big litmus test. If we can break 16,000, a lot of good things can happen for the long positions. But going long into it, you're going to want to have profit takes in front of the high. So Mara, dip off VWAP. I picked this one over coin, so we'll see how that ends up working out. It was up more before Bitcoin broke. This was already testing the highs, just showing more strength. So that's the reason I picked it over looking at Coinbase off VWAP, which, I mean, if you take the coin, it's the same setup off VWAP where you're bouncing. You just pick and choose whichever one. I'm not going to do them both. Boeing in there was able to reclaim. It bounced off of 222 even. So that 221.5, the original plan, We're long in front of it, just not the way I was expecting with that Spirit news with some changes in their executive structure. I'm going to hate myself for this. We always talk about if something bounces off target, look for an opportunity to get back in. So the bounce, it was right to get out of Rivian. It then wicked 1630, didn't quite get into VWAP for reloads around the 1640 area, and then shoots right back down into the low. So I still want to be net short this as long as it's trending, but the entry looks like it's going to be 1630 to 1635 here, as I just want to make sure I cancel. Obviously, the stop order from 16.5 doesn't need to be in there anymore, and I can put a stop when if I get a refill just above 1635.
Yeah, I was speaking about refill. I thought we had a coffee refill coming here at some point. Okay, maybe Rob's working on it. He asked, so hopefully it comes through. We're going to wait for 381, I guess, now on Microsoft. I mean, I really want to hold this name, guys, for the long, but I'm just looking at, oh, wait a second. I just put another offer into something to get short here. I don't know if we like it. Okay, new trade alert. If it comes through, it could on this little bump up, so let's go. I mean, I'm still net long everything, so hopefully it does come through. Oh, darn. Okay, I thought we'd get a little bit of a bump up when this happened, but it's Uber. And again, I love the name, but relatively weak today. You know, you can like a name in your long-term portfolio and obviously short it as a day trader. That's what you're kind of supposed to do. Look for opportunities. And right there, 56, we did break below. We came back up, we wicked it, then we fell. So, I mean, I want to use all of this as protection right now and just go short for Uber. But unfortunately, it's making that move down. So if you all, okay, first of all, I'm going to take this Microsoft trade right now. I know Uber's going downside, but here it is right now. We just put a 92 out there. Hopefully we can fill it up. The problem is I'm always using like the NASDAQ gateway, and I think like because this is on the NASDAQ, I feel like sometimes it just misses me.
I don't
So
love that.
yeah, I'm going to have to maybe potentially change it up. But here it comes right back up, and oh no, we just got a firm at the high of the day as well. Right now, let's go. Let's freaking start spinning some of this around finally, because there's a firm, $1.40 in the money, right back to where we punched along in the first place. Ridiculous, Sean. But there it is anyways. Nice move for a firm. At least we took it, right? So that's good. And held it. So whatever. We'll make a decent amount back. So we're happy with it. But still not a good trade by me in the first place. As we do not follow our rules. Maybe now we'll try to follow. Let's follow our rules now. All right, a 30.51 break on this. We won't take as many shares, but let's take something just to see if that works. Because earlier we punched this long. Now we already have the long $1.50, so let's see if it works. Tesla doing Tesla things, of course, that would be in the money, but look at the market. This is the problem.
Break this 16,000.
Like do something right in here. So again, move up, move down, stay in the middle, but it doesn't mean we stop, right? I mean, we're still going to have some good successful trades on here today, and hopefully we can continue that route to the upside, but here it comes pulling back again. So good out for me on Microsoft, I feel like. I'm pretty happy taking that. Amazon looks like this will slip up a little bit, but we're long right here right now. So let's take an offer. I didn't even realize we're back up to 45, so we'll see if we can get a piece out as we've bought the dip there at 30, but we just ignored that 45, probably a mistake. Let's see if it can get back going. I have a 45, then a 55, and then hopefully we're able to start looking at this near 147, where is the 200 period moving average. So yeah. All right, there it goes. Okay, here comes a firm, by the way. Right now, $1.50 in the money, looking to break through 30.50. We're taking this one, guys. We should have been patient in the first place.
Oh, RDHL halted again. Just for everyone out there, if it's 5 or 10 minutes, that's what makes sense. It's a volatility halt at the top. The tap is 275. Looks like it's a little bit more reasonable. It's not gapping up $1 or anything like that. So if you're tracking that one, it is starting to go. You have, like, it's setting back up, obviously, in a firm. My mistake was taking it the second time through. You get one entry, it failed that. I did not need to reload it, and that'll be the mistake. I did get a level that we liked before, but now you're starting to break back out. This is what I was looking for at the open on a firm. I think I look at this 30.17, and that provides you with a bit of an out in this consolidation. So previous resistance turning into support. That was 30.40. I want to long off 30.40, giving it to 30.17. Again, adding on the way back down, I'm never a huge fan of, but it's now showing signs of strength. If you're talking about this showing signs of strength, Shopify is stair-stepping to the upside, but that's forming a wedge, not nearly as strong. Wayfair, which was the other name that went absolutely ham, is getting back to the top. The volume is terrible here. So if Wayfair was doing better volume, I'd be looking at a top break because it had a big move. But all the volume right now is in Affirm. So the other retail names that were good are no longer showing a heck of a lot of interest. It seems like it's just an Affirm party. Boeing's about 50 cents in the money, but if it breaks 223, I think we get the pre-market high of 224.
All right, guys, I mean, I know Obi was here yesterday and the day before. I don't know if he traded Amazon like this, but we're going to do this right now and spin it because there's Amazon right now, 30 cents in the money. We just took some more out. This is going to be another positive name for us here today as it continues to make a little bit of cash here. That's Amazon. All right, so there it goes into the 60s. I'm waiting at 69, but really, honestly, let's just take it right here at 60 deuces. See if we can get that out. Oh, wait a second. Why didn't that fill on Amazon? I thought I would just put a 62 offer. All right. There it is. We'll figure that out. Oh, 146.52. Okay, good. So we did get an out. So we'll see about that right now on Amazon as it's just dancing around a little bit here. So we'll see where this is going. So far, so good. And then in the new position alert of the day, it's going to be Uber right now. Come on, Affirm. Let's just do something. All right. So we do have Affirm. We did take a piece out there at 60, but obviously waiting for it to go a little bit more. In everyone's favorite, maybe it's not, but I'm pretty sure maybe it is. Everyone's favorite ride sharing. All right, there it is, 56. Look, I don't even want to get too fancy with this, 56.05. Now that I see that, I don't even have my stop order in, so let's do that right now. We talked about we were going to use some of this garbage up here as some protection. So right there, that break of, I don't know, we could go, let's just go 56.11 or so. Like something up there, break higher. I don't know, man. If the market rallies, we do understand that this could be this position could be in trouble, of course, because of how strong Uber is on the daily, especially right there. But here we go. We faded it out, and now right back into the money for Uber. So we're only short right now at 90s. Let's put a bid a little bit lower than that. Let's try to take like an 80s. You already saw where we're going to get filled. If we can get filled at 80 down there on the downside, take 10 cents on a piece. We are trying to hold this for about a 15 cent hit or 20 cent hit if it does break higher. Okay, so far so good. We talked about getting out of some Amazon on the high side. We're $1 in the money here. We did get out some Affirm there at 60 and then again at 50. So it looks like this wants to fail one last time. And if we break below 30, we gone right now. SPR, we got to go over to Adara, but there it is. We have resumed on SPR and absolutely nothing happening. So if you held out for it, congratulations, but you may be disappointed as it's opening up with zero volume. All right, Adara, kill him with kindness.
RDHL, the big small cap of the day right now, up 165%, holding again right now. But basically, this one had some news yesterday, receiving an FDA grant for 5 years of protection for one of its treatments. So definitely Red Hill, still one to watch, although we are halted currently. We also have SMX. This one was trading a lot higher pre-market, still up about 15% after announcing the planned launch of the world's first plastic cycle token. So keep an eye on this one as well. Last but not least, ICCM up about 60%. After a study announced that they actually are able to treat tumors that are more resistant. So definitely keep an eye on all these names heading into the rest of the day, guys.
So SPR opening back up. Nothing in the, it's actually, I almost think it's good news that nothing is really, not a lot of volume came into that. It just, if it was going ham, I think that would affect Boeing probably a little bit more. And on that reopen, Boeing just dipped and bounced off 22 even again. Now, 2150 is a level I like, but if I can enter at the 22 level, off that 2150, it allows this to be able to hold this flag or even break it slightly, and then we get a push higher. I'm offering at the pre-market high of the day. There's room to 230 on this if it gets bullish. If this market breaks out finally, then there's obviously a lot of room for it to go, but look at it. Look, this is getting, on the futures, it's getting a little bit ridiculous, like how tight this range is. We're just going back and forth. If we break out 16,000, it's a lot of pressure that gets relieved to the upside. But that's what you need to see happen. So going back to Boeing, this was the first thing I liked this morning off that 2150 level. We're going to add to it. Here, if it holds, it holds. I'm back into the Rivian short as that one continues to kind of stair-step it to the downside. I'm adding here at 29s, trying to get a few more shares. I'm stopping out above 1635, and let's see if it can break that low of the day. NEO already bounced off 7-ish. It went to 703. It got as high as 710. It's kind of giving a higher low here. I'm offering it VWAP, and then we'll see where it can go from there. It was Alibaba at 75 that was the other missed opportunity. I mean, there it goes. Yeah, I mean, BABA there, it didn't quite get to 75 even, but 75 and a quarter looks like a pretty good go zone for Alibaba. So pretty much looking at the same names as before, with the notable exception being I'm still short that consolidation in Fisker. Fisker is the kind of stock, I'll let you know when it moves, but when that breaks the trend, I'm out if it breaks 80. I'm short at 76 and a half, and I'm not bidding till it gets to 171, 172.
Yeah, have some price targets in mind for these markets, that is for sure. I just want to bring to everyone's attention again, Mr. Softy, a pretty good trade right here. And it's trying to go. Okay, here we go. All right, come on, Uber. Bring it down right now. Hopefully this can make a move down in. Here we go, man. We just gave this to you. Give us the 75s. Oh, did we get them? Oh, we got 76s. Were we at some? Okay, we were at 76. Okay, nice move down there for Uber. So let's go. Ring the Reggies again, guys. Yours truly handed this one. Good trade there. Let's make sure that we get some out right now, as there it is, 1-to-1 already right now for Uber, down in the money now, 20 cents. So again, pick your poison on this trade. It's Uber, it's downside. Still like the company, but you know, we are still taking that to the downside. Thank you so much, Rob, coming through with the coffee, and I definitely appreciate this. Wow, this one's loaded up. Neil be on his way very soon.
Yes, please.
Hot stuff right here in the mug.
Wait, that's the good thing about the Jura, which there was some discussion over, because there was apparently a Black Friday deal on not the Jura that we have, but a different Jura. For
I picked up 12 of them.
For like 1,300 or something.
Yeah, that's right.
My mine was coffee related. My Black Friday purchase, I got a new grinder. It's fantastic. It's like a burr style grinder when you grind your coffee instead of like the Magic Bullet style. You want something with it's like gears, and it's more fine. Anyways, this is what I was told by Brendan, and Randy was talking about it. So I'm like, oh, I want one of those. I love coffee. Just going back over to you know who. That's going to be a firm. Nick Dubs. I'll get to ICCM in a quick second. Got the consolidation long. If it breaks out underneath this local high, which also was the pre-market top, then I'm out of dodge. So that is my out. If it breaks it, you will not see me. If it gets into VWAP and reclaims like this 29.8 level that we're along in front of before, then that's a separate trade. If it gets to the high, takes them out. If it breaks it, the next level is 31, and then I'm holding on for dodge. So that, Boeing, I just went over with both those. So there's the update. And ICCM, ICU, that is a dollar bounce, 103. So it's taking out the high here after holding the dollar. There were pre-market tops at 150. On the daily chart, that wick will be a little bit annoying. So this is about 150. It is a significant level on the daily. And then next up, this is hard to see, that's about 175, 180 if you go back to when this last had a big time run. So it's in its stair-step phase, making a bit of a breakout. I usually look for the next stair to happen. You break the high, next level becomes support, and then comes back in. That's what it's been doing so far. Let's see if we can do that off the quarters. But there's room to 150, then to 175. So every 25 pennies looks pretty good for ICCM. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm in 5 positions at this particular point. I'm not putting on a 6th unless it was part of a predetermined plan. Right? Like, that's just generally how I like to trade the mornings. Still wanting 16,000 to break, but as we get to the top range, I'm going to take some Boeing out when it gets to this 22.6. If I'm reloading it here after Spirit opened up, if we never break this range, I'm going to take some profit in the middle here. Daniel saying, after updating your grinder, you'll never like other people's coffee again. I don't know if that's true. My weekend coffee, like my Saturday morning specifically, like that's the big one of the week, where like I really like to enjoy it. Sometimes I'll get the press out, but I'm still gonna have my coffee here. It's more of like a functionality thing. I just gotta have the morning coffee at the office.
Yeah. You know what? We've been really super impressed with our Nespresso, actually. So we just keep on doing that right now. But yeah, that's hopefully that grinder changes your life, man. Okay, so here we go.
That's burnt my tongue.
Still waiting. Oh no. Oh, I love hot coffee.
I love hot coffee too.
I hate burning the tongue though. Yeah, it's true on anything you have. Like, I don't know. I hate that. I hate that tongue burn. My kids are always like, oh my God, my tongue. Okay, so we didn't reload a firm, but whatever. The position for me here, Amazon just keeps on moving. Like, I'm trying to find other names that are going to do something. We just took another 75 fill right here on Uber. It doesn't look like it wants to go down too much. But if there are any names that you guys want me to look at, yeah, Nespresso, yeah, that's, I like that. Right here, we do have that machine, so it's a little bit different here. All right, maybe Adara is going to have a name for us.
A lot of these Chinese names are pretty weak right now, including Alibaba down about 2.5%. Li Auto still decently strong, but yeah, Neo down quite a bit and Baba down about 2.5% right now, guys.
Alibaba.
Ooh, keep an eye on. Shout out to Brankles, he just messaged me about ChargePoint. ChargePoint down 8.5%. Like if I'm in Fisker, that's breaking down. This is going to go short sell restricted in, I mean, a matter of pennies. 199 previous close. My goodness, look at the. We know what this is called. If you don't know what that's called, the definition of a flat bottom break. Last I checked, you have lower highs going into it. You see the pretty clean support, and then look what happens when it breaks down. It's actually 192, so it'll be 180. 179, and it's 10% to the downside. And I would look for some kind of a maybe bounce play on ChargePoint. That's when it goes short sell restricted. You can't hit the bid without it being the last print being an uptick. And so it's harder for it to be driven down by short sellers. Sometimes you get a bounce, not always, but sometimes. So ChargePoint now on radar for that kind of a setup. That's a setup I like. If you start bouncing off a level like that, ChargePoint's exactly the kind of stock you might be risking 1 or 2 cents, and then you can get a decent bounce play on it. So at the high end of the range, I just took some Boeing out. As it got back in, it's about 50 cents in there. That's the range that's being presented. If it breaks out the top, I'm offering once it goes $1. So let's see if it can do it. On the flip side of that, Affirm continues to be a bit of a dog. If it can't, like I said, if it can't hold on, I'm out. I had the consolidation long. If it was going to make a strong break to the upside, then it had to go there. If it bounces off VWAP, that's a separate trade. Right? Like every trade, there's my in, there's my out, there's my out, there's my out for it. Affirm's going to be the dog for me, no questions asked. I like Boeing to be the one. This is where I started my day with. Frustration. You can't anticipate. I mean, you could have anticipated that. I suppose that Spirit would have a random halt on news. I'd say there's no way to see it happen. You plan, and then that happened, and I have no way of knowing how this would have played out without that Spirit news. If it ends up failing underneath that 220 level, I almost got to tighten things up here because the market does not want to break this range. That's what we're being told right now.
Yeah, you got to watch out. I just averaged back into Affirm right here, but if it loses 30, then it will lose me. So right now, Affirm's still good, man. Whereas, again, see, that top break, we nailed the level 100%, but we don't have the direction, and that's part of the game. So, all right, crypto time. Let's go see what Adara's up to.
Some of these cryptocurrency related stocks trading higher right now, including Mara. Now we're falling back a little bit, but we were up quite a bit in the day, still up about 3% right now. So keep an eye on those crypto stock names. In terms of Bitcoin itself, we are down currently a little bit, but this is the 3-minute chart, so we're definitely still higher on the day for sure. If we look at all of these crypto names, generally pretty positive actually to the upside. Bitcoin up about just like over 37,000 right now. Ethereum just over 2,000. Generally pretty strong, but nothing super significant to the upside here. Just 1 or 2% higher, guys.
Oh, because they said Roaring Kitty is back. So Adara, please go find a Roaring Kitty post because right now it is GameStop and we are going to the moon. So shout out to Adrian. Maybe we need a little GME, whatever you call those things, emoticons. I don't know what those are called. Nice move to the upside there for GME. And here we go, man. 1260. Guess who's back? I don't know if he's back, but this is just what the chat is talking about. We will find out more information if that is true. But
locates aren't free.
If locates are not free, okay, so that might be part of it. Right there, $12 bottom for GME. Hey, man, I like the stock, he says. We'll wait to see if that is the case or not. But there goes GME to the upside. And again, if you're going to talk about GME, we have to look at a little bit at the short float. I thought it was like 13. Okay, back up to 23 right now percent. So nice move there. Look, Uber, man, we just got another fill at 72 down there for Uber. So that one is an alert opportunity there for Uber. But right now, GameStop trying to like go. Good. We'll wait to see what's going on with that as I see Adara working hard over there. If there's anything coming on GameStop, we will have that for you. But again, a level. Look, if you're going to play the meme, oh, by the way, that meme ETF is getting shut down. I think this month it has $3 million under management. So
it lasted longer than I thought it would.
Right there. But right there, just this level right here, 1450 or so. I still feel that even though you are looking at this stock and it's going to be meme-based and it's going to go up probably on nothing other than social media, but that's fine. This stock probably bankrupted more people than actually made money, but still a nice move to the upside right here for GME. And if you feel bad about missing the move the first time, well, maybe it's just getting started right now. But again, on this name, this style of trade, man, all I can tell you is you need to do your own due diligence. And I think that that's what hurt a lot of people early. But if you're doing your own due diligence, just look at the sticky note, because right now it's Microsoft. It's a nice move. It's $1.90 now, and still trying to go there for Microsoft, as well as Uber. We just wait for Affirm, which is an amazing 18 cents out of the money. Let's go Affirm. More upside, please.
I paid for locates on GameStop,
Yes.
but I wasn't quite fast, and it just went off 12.75 there. And once it broke back underneath that previous high, I kind of go to punch there and then throw a stop there for the move down, but that might have already happened, so I'm just going to quickly cancel my order. All I did is I zoomed to the 15-minute chart and found the first available level and looked for a turn at that price. That just happened to be 12.70 here. So once it broke, I'm like, if it turns at 75, it ends up being 74, then I would shoot for a short trade. It's already starting to pull back and I'm not in position. So if it goes back to the high, I'm not going to go for the double tap. It's just not the way that I trade those stocks. But congratulations if you were long this one. I'm skeptical there. We've seen lots of rumors about Roaring Kitty, and I don't know. I'm very skeptical about that one. So good luck to anybody trading it. Rivian got back to the low and again bounces off 16.20. So I did take some out on that reload. We're going to get less because obviously we had a short in front of 50 before in the mid 40s. This time we're short in the 30 range, but it's still trending to the downside. Still in this consolidation in Fisker, which is still in New York stock, last I checked. So it's going sideways. I'm just looking for the stairs to go down another time here on Fisker. It's known to do this and then roll over. So that's all I'm looking for here. It's easy if it breaks out the 180 level. I mean, this is 79, so if it prints 80, I just get out of the trade. Easy peasy. It's Boeing that we want to get to the upside. It'd be nice if the market went, but if this can go without the market, that would be all the better. It's trying to take out this 223 top. Whether it gets to 223.5 to get me filled or not, if it breaks 223, I'm looking for an out in this space. I don't let it go back underneath 223 without getting something out. This needs to resolve itself to the upside pretty soon. Otherwise, I'll be disappointed. FFTB saying Micron rolling back to zone. So just because I don't know what that obviously means, it's still trying to get back above that 75. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. That was the big level. When you zoom it out, the last consolidation after it broke out was 75 on the daily. When you pop up the 15-minute chart, which is generally the first place I'm going to go to, I would have thought like 76 if it got back above that price, good. 75 is where it just previously broke out from mid-month here. So it's still looking relatively weak on Micron. I thought there could be a relief rally long on Micron if this broke back above one of those levels, but you're still stepping down. This looks exactly like a Rivian chart to me, which that's like a short till it's not. If it can clear out 76, that gets different for me.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm not looking at Rivian either today. I should be probably, but okay. So just real quick, this went back to positive. So we got out of some, we got out of 20% of Affirm. Obviously we're in this, we're long at 36s. Let's see if this can moon. My next offer is at 50, well at 45. Then we'll wait for 70s, like kind of just thinking that if we break 50, we'll take a little bit of a move up. And then I'm waiting for much more right here, right now, as it's been a good day, man. Uber's been good. Tesla's been kind of meh as it's making moves lower. Watch out for Tesla. This is probably going to wind up being an absolutely fantastic short there, Tesla, just like for that happened. I feel like during the midday show, I will be on NVIDIA. I've been so not focused on it, but look at this again, another test of the 50 period before dropping back down. We've identified that we want these names to the short side. Look how perfect. Wow, AMD is setting up real nice right here as well. So, oh man, okay. Is it a segment or are we just going over to Adair? Let's go over to Adair and find out.
Yeah, just an update on Zscaler, almost touching the high side here, I guess to the positive after trading much lower pre-market and aftermarket yesterday following its earnings. So just keeping an eye on ZS on the NQ as we go to the high side, guys.
Yeah, just very quickly. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is now breaking on Boeing. So this is what I said. If it does not hold above this 223, then I'm actually going to cancel this order, and I'm going to cancel my stop. One thing we can do here is I can trigger a stop if it gets back underneath 223 to cover some of these shares. And again, I think this should have already gone, and I don't know what the future would have been had we had a different story with that SPR. It is what it is at this point. Like maybe it would have gone straight and we'd already have the breakout, but if we can't hold this 223 level, then I need to be getting some out here on Boeing. It's now gone about 70 cents in the money. I want it to go further than that. That would be nice, but hey, if it's ifs and buts, we're candy and nuts, and you can wish anything you want, it doesn't have to happen. There's Rivian. It's now double tapped 16.17. I just put the bid at the low of the day, looking for it to break. We got the fill, and it's starting to come back into the upside. So this one is still channel into the downside on Rivian. Note that relative weakness. The EVs have been shorts until they are not at this particular point.
All right, what a beautiful trade. For the professor going crazy beside me as well. There it goes, man. We've got it now, finally, man. As the frustration mounts here for me on Affirm, because again, it's just that one thing there, man. It puts me in a sour mood, but we're in a good mood now, baby, as we're 20 cents in the money on Uber. We're at day's high right now. Spin it. Let's go, Softy, man. Sir Softy is in the building. Look at Amazon. Amazon right now. Shout out. There goes Amazon. Let's go, man. We'll take a 71. Hells yeah on Amazon right now. So we'll start this, man. We'll have one red stock today. We'll have Affirm. Actually, and Tesla. Ugh. This is not major, but if we're going to be honest with our numbers, there it is, man. One red stock in Affirm, and then Tesla red as well, but back and forth. So two right there on that one. But look at Uber, man. Uber's starting to go back up to the upside. What's up with that? As Uber's going crazy here, so we're going to get out some more if it does come in. Look at this market. We moon time, baby, right now, and that is great for me. Anybody that's long. Look what's happening. Yes, sir. I like that, Neil, right there.
That's the best graphic.
That's the best graphic. Well, this right now, this means that you have $2 in the money on something, and we do right now, as Microsoft just went $2.50 in the money right now. Trade the right names, trade the best names, wait for El Popo, and there it goes. Nicely done up to the upside. And like I said, man, I know where I trade best, and honestly, I told you about this little breakout right there. This is not the trade that I want. The only time that I really had a great long breakout was when we made $8 on Boeing. But again, we tried this right there early. Good thing we are out of it for 50 cents. Tried it again, then bought back the damn bottom, broke it out again, bought it back. What's up now, Affirm? Okay, now we're still down on it. All right, let's go over to the desk. No? Where's Dara? Oh, she's over there. All right, let's go to the green screen as we found her. It's Adara.
Pretty mixed across the board right now. There are some notable exceptions. We have utilities pretty high across the board within that sector. We have a lot of negativity as well in health technology amidst the Novo Nordisk Eli Lilly study showing that Novo Nordisk's weight drugs are less effective. Microsoft also pretty strong right now. Adobe as well. There's some strength in technology services, Electronic technology, though, pretty weak, brought down by a lot of these chip names currently. The big exception there is Boeing, which has been higher since getting this upgrade from RBC Capital this morning. We also have a little bit more mixed in retail trading. Amazon down, Walmart up amid all the Black Friday and Cyber Monday news and deals. All in all, pretty mixed picture. Keep an eye on all of the sectors and see how it changes throughout the day.
You might have seen that some notes from Fed's Waller there hit the bottom of the screen. If inflation consistently declines, there is no reason to insist that rates remain high. So that is a bullish comment. 16,000 is gone. We already did this, but just if you weren't paying attention a couple of minutes ago, the market's now green. 16,000 is now in the rear view. Just a couple of updates. NEO just broke VWAP, so that 7 level. It bounced off 2s. I got 3s and didn't get 2s. I had a passive order sitting at 2s, so if you got filled at 2, then you got a great fill, in my opinion. Like, I was sitting there willing to pay. I was on BYX, which you pay to add liquidity, and it never filled. It's probably just dark pools that filled at the L2 level. But now you're starting to run here a little bit. One more to get to, because in that move into the upside, I'm now out of Rivian. I might jump back into this if I can find enough relative weakness, but the stair step was already good on Rivian. You knew where my stop was going to be, so I'm just going to stop it out there every single time. This was the one kind of trend down short, which was sort of obvious, at least the stair step down. I got my next fill in Fisker. It is still doing the barcode. If it breaks this out, this is a pretty easy out for me. If it breaks out at VWAP, you guys can see that. The longer it barcodes, sometimes the more violent the move is in either direction. That's why I'm going to have a hard stop. And when it comes to that, we got our fill in Boeing, so thank you very much. I was about to hit the bad plane one, but I'm going to hit the good plane one. And I understand this is not necessarily the best graphic for Boeing because it's crashing in, but it's positive because the money's coming in for that. Why we're in lab suits makes no sense to me for that graphic. Like, what are we, like evil doctors or something? Like, it just looks like I'm supposed to be like Rick from Rick and Morty in that. But we're now getting to the high of the day on Boeing. I am holding through a high of the day break on Boeing. This was the first thing I wanted to trade today.
Trust.
Unfortunately, you know, with that Spirit news, it kind of did that to Boeing. But now it looks like it can take out that high, and all roads lead to 225 on Boeing.
Oh, man. Yeah, about a firm. I mean, there it goes, man. I mean, again, thanks, Sharif, for that. But, yeah, again, just I'm glad we hit the 50 the second time, and I'm glad we reloaded it as well. So, again, it's about having kind of like faith in what you're doing, but at the same time, sometimes in trading, timing can be off. So right there, man, we'll ring the register again. We just played the money one. So we'll do this one instead because I've been at a few sporting events recently, and firing off the hot dog cannon is a popular thing to do. All right, so there goes 31. Let's see if we can hold the rest of this. Bye-bye Affirm, huge trade right now. Bowman's talking all about all of this. He's just talking about the policy rate being higher than it was during the pandemic is where they're looking for. So before the pandemic. So we'll find out more about that. Look where Uber's gone, right back upside. I actually didn't realize we went that high. Our out member is 10. I would have taken more short at 05 there if we had noticed it, but we'll have to do it right now as we're getting some more short right here on Uber at O's. Or 99, sorry. So we just got some 99s there. Remember, our out's going to be 11s. So it looks like this name really wants to get going back up to the upside, which is honestly fine by me if that's what it wants to do. But if we get stopped out, we get stopped out. Uber's been a good trade until it's not right now. Just so you guys know, we talked about Affirm. I just got another piece out here at 31. If you're wondering about the sticky note, obviously we had this long from there. But I guess it's the day trade here, the day chart that we need right there. So you're coming into this level that we talked about before. It goes all the way back to August 31 we stopped at. And then back in here in May, we kind of only got as high as 32, 33. So this Affirm trade, although obviously pretty good rate now, still may have topped out. We only have 20% left. 30% left actually of this trade. Probably about 6 or 7 outs there. So nicely done. We'll see if Affirm can continue to make us a little bit of money here, money back.
There's another punt opportunity.
Trade. Oh, buy now, pay later? Yeah.
No. Well, okay. Well, because like firm is generally seen as a good, right? Like you have a firm bid.
Yes.
I mean, there's other things I could say, but I'm just thinking like a firm bid on like a house or whatnot. I can say something else, but a firm making a firm move to the upside. A firm firmly showing its strength. Like there's puns out the wazoo. If there's one thing I can say about Obi, he has a pretty good pun game. Him and Nadero were battling it back and forth. No, it's true. They dropped the good puns, but
at least that's the one thing you could say about him.
I can say other things, like I can say other positive things about Obi, but we have a bit of a side joke that I think Adara makes better puns than Obi, but it's very close. They're very good.
It only matters who makes better trades.
I do the cheesy ones. It's all about having fun as well. We got to keep it light. I try not to take myself too seriously. That's why we're all here. But a couple of things, because Meta. I know we've ignored Meta. Okay, I've ignored Meta. I can't speak for you. I've ignored Meta. I decided not to short the level that I liked. It ended up being a good decision because that resistance level has turned into support. So 335.50 to 35, it's now bouncing off of that. So when I missed the initial short off of that price, you saw when it got back in, I was literally talking to myself out loud and said, I'm not taking this short, didn't take it. It's now bouncing off those levels. I'm thinking in the other direction off the same price. If it's a good price level, I now like it in the other way. And that's that 335 to 35 half. It was a short lead in the afternoon. It was actually pretty decent short in the afternoon yesterday. But I like the long off this level in Meta now.
Okay, I'm thinking the opposite right now initially on Meta. I'm going to try to go short here at 50 using this 37. But again, the long is probably, this is hopefully going to be like $1 scalp to give about 50 cents. Well, now it's coming down, so okay. Anyways, this is sort of what I was looking for if we can get it again. We wrote down Meta 336 that we really liked. Was it 336? Yeah, 336 as a short. So we did have an idea here to short Meta. The fact that it bumped up to that level should have been something there for me. But we're going to wait on it and see where we can get it going with that one. Good out on Affirm, obviously, as Uber's pulled back as well for us. So that was good. We'll wait to see. Again, like we didn't. I guess I'm not even sitting at 05, am I? So, all right, now I got to put an order there. I'm so stupid, I didn't even put an order there. All right, so we'll have to wait to see if that's going. Microsoft is pulling back in. Amazon, again, like honestly, man, we just got this fill right there at O's, so or pretty much at O's. They went to 147.05. We got 93 there, so that's going to be a good out there for 55 cents on Amazon. So I mean, we got to be pretty happy with it. Uber making the move down. Let's check out SoFi right now for another name. Ooh, nicely done, back over 7, so that's nice. Held 7.
Look at yesterday at 7.
Yeah, I went up to 720 there at the open. What did it do yesterday?
It was a clean break off 7 that I think a lot of people, I was surprised.
Off the open, yeah.
But on the way back in, there was nothing really much it's doing at 7 even. I like the higher low at 7 even. I still think SoFi, it feels like it's making a move to the top end of the range again.
Uber coming.
Like it looks strong again. If it can just get back above the 200 period moving average, I think it's got some juice to the 780 level on SoFi. No trade for me today because I needed to see it set up off 7 even. Now you just need it to break out. Like it's held 7. That's the first step. The second step would be to take out the top. Maybe it needs to get through 720. You want to trade things when they're giving you good reasons to, not just because you generally like the direction. That's what swing trading is for. Let's go to the desk. We've got Money Talks with Adair.
Brought to you by Benzinga Pro. Use the link in the description for Benzinga's Black Friday deal, the greatest deal of the year, including 75% off Benzinga Pro monthly subscriptions as low as $49.25. You can find so much on here, lots of news updates, the everything terminal for retail traders. You just have to visit pro.benzinga.com and use the coupon code TTVNOV to save 75% off now. New subscribers only and conditions apply. So for the USD, we are seeing, continued move to the downside here. This is the daily chart. We've now broken below 103. We had that consumer confidence number earlier today, including a contraction for the October number. And then we additionally had we had a Fed speak, Fed Waller basically saying that there's no real reason to increase the rates if inflation continues to decline. So this is definitely all of note right now. Yeah, basically we are seeing a continued dip in the USD as we have that consumer confidence and Fed speak. There is more Fed speak to come throughout the day though, so keep an eye on that and see how this will impact the USD, guys.
Yes, sir. We have, it's Fed speak pretty much. Who's the last one? It's Bar. The last one's going to be Bar at 1 o'clock. Sorry, check that, 1:05. So you keep your ear to the ground. Sometimes we've already had a little bit of a bullish tint there. So if we do continue the move, generally speaking, how many times am I going to say the same thing about support to resistance? But essentially, resistance was at like 16.15 or so on the futures. Overnight. So if you can bounce back in anywhere from 16 to that level, that would be a positive. You can stair step it to the upside and you're still favoring the long trades. The things that I like short, like if we start failing, sorry, I was going back over to Meta, just make sure we weren't getting down to view up. We're not. I went over to Rivian, I'm like, oh, is this still setting up for potential short? The answer is a resounding no. So we had Rivian pretty much all morning to the short side once we joined. It broke out, it's above VWAP. I think you just don't want to fight something like this. The other thing as well, Fisker, we talked about sitting in that consolidation. Consolidation breaks, get out. There it is. It broke, I'm out at 80. Your consolidation was essentially 76 to 79. I was short here once at 77 and then got a fill at 78 for a 77 half price, and then we lose our 2.5 cents there. If it flushes, great, but obviously it's not flushing at this particular moment. It could do something else, but I'm going to sit in that. It's worked a couple of times doing that, and you want to favor it when it does want to go. I'm fighting a sneeze right now, but I'm going to get to one last one before I throw to Sean. Coinbase breaking highs, heading for 125. The rocket ship that is crypto continues to the upside. So.
Congratulations!
Yeah, good job there. I'm really happy. I'm going to have to check the crypto account, as we said, again. But there it is, man. I mean, here's another one. Let's go. We gave it to you. It's Uber. There's literally another 25 cents right there. So 20 cents, sorry, because you could have got the 05s, which we did right there. Sorry, we got O's. It did go up to 05. We missed it. But there's the pullback down in Uber. Again, trade the right names. Like, we're short Uber as the market's at these highs. We're almost $3 in the money on, well, we were $3 in the money on Microsoft, now $2.50 as that's continuing to work. We're 50 cents in the money on Affirm, and we just took some of that out right here as well. Man, it's great to be back. That is for sure. And I just want to thank everybody for continuously supporting the show and continuously doing this.
Hola, like and subscribe today.
Because why not? And make sure you do hit that like and that subscribe. You're going to get Adara coming through with Sharif in just a matter of 5 minutes. And then I'll be back with Neil at 2 o'clock, and more fun will ensue. And we've had great trades, man. I just hope that you've noticed them, you've made them, you've understood. You don't have to make them, but you've understood why we've been in there. We talked about this one early, Affirm. We talked about Uber, why we like that short. That's been a print factory. Amazon long has been a print factory as well. Tesla, again, we'd be $1 in the money, but that 232 didn't come into play. We did take the shot at the pre-market bottom of 236. It did break. Oh yeah, and by the way, everyone's favorite segment is back. It's lunchtime. What is for lunch? And today, if you had some good trades, then you probably had some of these at least. So you had some good chicken dinner winners. Yesterday was chicken sandwich. Today, again, we're going to have chicken. It's southern roasted chicken with Cajun black bean rice and charred sweet peppers. That's, I feel like that's a decent dinner.
I like anything
It sounds
Cajun.
like it's a lot for lunch, but that'll be fun, and I hope that we get a tuna situation as per usual on the side. Okay, here we go. Now Uber's really starting to go. Nice move back in for Uber. We're bidding 80s. Why not bid some 82s and take that fill if we can? Let's go, man. We're here for entertainment, and we're here for winning trades, as we've discussed as well. And there it is right there. Uber putting it in the pocket as the market trying to fall back in just a little bit. There's another fill right there on Uber. So, man, oh, man, not too shabby at all, says Chef Joe.
Chef Joe in the house,
What's up,
definitely
Chef
not too
Joe?
shabby. Shout out to Josh, CrowdStrike after the bell. The recap show was on yesterday. It'll be right back. I'm going to get to Jamie in a quick second, but CrowdStrike is the big name today. There's a couple ones this week. CRM has to report. Marvell has to report this week as well. I think Marvell is. Check that. I actually thought Marvell was today. CrowdStrike for sure. Marvell, I'll double check. But GameStop just went to 13. It is still going higher. Again, whatever you believe about the rumors, I simply waited for the next level up to take a fade trade. There it is. It just went to 13.05
Wow.
and wick back underneath. That's a 15-minute chart without a red candle. So I'm risking to the high, and if I make top wick, then I make top wick. It's as simple as that. I'm always willing to make top wick on a play like this. So if it breaks the local high, I'm going to get out. Oh, wait a minute. No, it didn't, and I keystroked. Get back in. All right. I'm going to jump right back into it. I just essentially keystroked out of it like a you-know-what. So I'm jumping back in at 13 even. Want to stop out only if it takes out the 13.05 high. GameStop, as far as I am concerned, whether it has news or not, typically speaking, on the days that it rallies, and they've been few and far between, when you get the high, like this last time, it was about 14.40. It dropped pretty much straight all the way back into 13.84 without retesting the top. And then another time, once it made that top, you had a big 50-cent retracement move in it. So I'm looking for something like that back, and VWAP gives it to you exactly. That's about 50 cents right there in for VWAP. If we can make that move, great. If we break out the high, I don't want to fight this one. It breaks out the high, I just jam out.
Yes, sir. Okay, so again, thanks so much for joining us. You're going to see obviously different styles here. You're going to about to see. What are you guys covering today?
We are doing
MACD.
Sorry, so we'll,
Donkey and chains, I think. I got you. Okay, so nice move down there for Uber. So join Sharif and Adara as they'll go all over education and different plays, different setups that you may be looking at as a day trader as we bring you, again, more education. So stay tuned. It is going to be a new stream, so you're going to flip over to that in just a couple seconds. And if you do not, make sure you go over to YouTube, find the stream, flip over, and that is what it is. And then very, very soon, I have no idea when this is going to happen, but we're also going to be showing our positions and our trades, Neil and I's trades, during the midday show as well on a separate stream. So that should be a lot of fun as that goes. And then I know you guys had a
tentative ETA is supposed to be the beginning of the month. Tentative.
beginning of the month. Okay, so a couple days.
Yeah,
and then we also have, I know the podcast went well, I think.
Yeah, the podcast went well. We taped it on Wednesday.
Yep.
Still released on Saturday. It's going back to being taped on Fridays this week with the professor. Sharif's going to be doing it. We'll continue that. We'll continue the whole pattern going right through. Obviously, it's going to be topical, so we're going to make sure we hammer pretty much everything that's going on in advance, like, what's going on that week and then what's going to happen next week. We're getting out of earnings season, but the futures are at some gorgeous levels here to be had. So just going to come back over quickly. GameStop takes out this top. If it takes out this top, there you go. So when you see my style of trade, I am risking literally 5 cents, and I would start getting out at 10 cents all the way into 50. That is the trade that I am looking for. Don't want anything to turn into an absolute mess. Like, ideally, the way I want to play it is for every Boeing, like, I'd have to lose like 3 or 4 times on a firm to equate to 1 Boeing. Like, that's the way I want things to work out to. On a GameStop, that's even more important, because when GameStop runs you over, if you fight GameStop when it's going up, that's the kind of thing that can ruin your day. So I shorted that $13 level. You saw me get in. That's a very, very tight stop. Again, if you're going to have a tight stop, then you acknowledge sometimes you're going to have FOMO in a trade. Like, if it fails around 13 and drops to 1250, then I'm going to be mad at myself. But the market's going to allow you to break your rules and sometimes reward you from it. The worst thing you can do is to continue to break them because you got rewarded for it. This is squeezing to the upside. I'm only looking for fades up here, but each one is going to be a very, very tight stop setup. And next step, 13.5 and 14.40. Those are the 2 levels I like out here. If it curls at either one of those 2, you'll see me right back in it. But for now, it's 11 o'clock. The longs have been working. If we hold 16,000, I think they can continue to, but that's a very, very big level. Let's go on, learn a little bit about, I can't pronounce that, Donchian chains? Donchian chains with Adara and Sharif.
Oh crap, I closed the wrong one. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to the midday show. We're just gonna wait for a little bit here until we get a lot of people in, because it takes a little bit of time for people to jump over from the other stream. We're gonna do some shout outs, Adair and I, for those who are in the chat first. We're gonna be talking basically about what we were talking about yesterday. Moving averages. We're going to wait. We're going to extend that principle to some other indicators that use moving averages. There we go. We got Gustavo. We got Vin. We got Renata. What?